This week on NintenDomain, we talk about MGC, and we got some interviews as well. And did Billy Mitchell get a raw deal?
Milwaukee doesn't want to let anyone leave its clutches.
I can't wait to hear this episode for the first time.
Welcome to NintenDomain episode 117. We are your hosts. I'm Trey, hashtag Billy Mitchell got a raw deal Johnson.
I'm Jereme. Gonna get that Virtual Boy fixed, Mikowski.
I'm John, the man who wasn't there, knitter.
You were the man who wasn't there. So we're back from MGC, Midwest Gaming Classic in Milwaukee. And we got a bunch of interviews that we did with various people, which will be the topic of our show, of course. But
yeah,
we will
from
start
the show floor.
From the show floor. So, but we'll start off our show like we normally do with our purchases. And since we were just at a, gaming expo, we'll actually get to show it to you on here in the video world. We'll show our purchases. Then we'll talk about some news. I mean, mostly like Midwest Gaming Classic news. And I want to talk about Big Bill Mitchell also, because he was there at the show and we got to see him and talk to him and all that. And that whole controversy happened like in between shows, so we haven't really talked about it at all. So we'll talk about that for sure in our intro. But without further ado, who wants to start here?
Well, I'll start like I normally do. I bought nothing.
Yep. Lame.
So there it is.
Well, you weren't at MGC, so. I didn't really buy that much at MGC, believe it or not. Because there was and I'm going to blast the Hilton here, but we stayed at the Hilton, and apparently they screwed up and charged everybody $200 extra for their room. And
wow.
It got fixed, thankfully, but not until after we all left the show. So it's kind of like, for people like me who only have a certain amount of money saved to spend at the show, you're kind of fucking us over by just taking $200 out of my bank account. It's like,
yeah,
it's unfair.
Did they use some kind of compensation for it? Or
no, of course not, because they're assholes. But they said, I asked them about it. I was like, what the fuck? Like, why did you charge me an extra $200 on top of like the $60 incidental fee? It's like, what's going on here? And they're like, oh no, we did it to like everybody by accident, but you'll get it back in like 48 hours. And I'm like, well, fuck you, man. Kind of screwing everything over. But at the same time, like, we were there with Jess, and she helped me purchase anything that I ran out of money for. But
you should have just like taken the TV from the hotel room and told them, I'll give it back to you in 48 hours.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm sure they'd be fine with that. And just let me take this. I stole some towels on the way out. No, I didn't. But I should have.
$200 worth of towels.
I left 100 NintenDomain Honey Darling Show postcards in their rooms that they have to look at. No, not 100, but we did leave a couple. Yeah, so, but at the same time, I didn't really see a whole lot of stuff that was like, oh man, I really need to get that, so it wasn't like I was super tapped for it, but who wants to start?
I got a lot of stuff, so, I mean, if you want me to start, I can.
Okay, go for it.
Well, I bought a lot of different stuff at the Gaming Classic. Last year, I bought a lot more games, so I kind of expected to buy a lot of games this year, but I only bought 2 games. Trying to continue to beef up my weird golf games collection that I guess I started doing for some reason. I got Outlaw Golf for the Nintendo GameCube.
I love that you bought that game because Outlaw Golf was like the butt of a joke, like between all three of us. I think back in the early GameCube days, I'd always make fun of Outlaw Golf because wasn't it like originally like a timed Xbox exclusive or something like that? I think it was like a dig at the first Xbox that I would say. It's like, oh yeah, they got games like Outlaw Golf. That's a great game.
It was like that in Blood Wake. We used to joke about.
Blood Wake or Blood Rain.
It was Blood Wake because it was the speedboat game that had blood.
Oh yeah, Blood Wake. Yeah, it's almost like
forgot about that game.
It's like Team Knight Rider or Night Boat. There was actually a show called Team Knight Rider where there were different ones. And Night Boat was a Simpson episode. Where's the Knight Rider boat?
So there was one game I had in mind that I wanted to buy. I had it on my list and everything. So I found it for $15. It was the cheapest I found it. Time Splitters 2. Yeah, I finally got this game. I've wanted this game for a while. Played it. It works. It's fun. Came with the instruction booklet in the original case, so that's cool.
I think I got that game for the same price for John, because that was like one of the first games I got for John. And because we played it and you said you liked it, and I found it on sale for $15 new. So that was that was when it came out. I bought it for John the same price that you got it now used when it was out, because I guess unfortunately not that many people cared about it, or it was like overstocked or something. But I remember that one dropped in price super quick. So I think I got it for you for your birthday or something. But it was only like $15. Yeah, but that game is awesome. It's really good. I don't know how rare Future Perfect is, the third one, but I really like that one a lot. Like the single player is better on that one, I think. And also you actually have hands in that, because Time Splitters 2 there's no hands, they're just floating guns, which is interesting. Like they didn't put a hand on the FPS thing. But yeah, that's a great game. So love to hear what you think of it as you play it more and do some videos.
Yeah,
and stuff,
I mean, it was the first person shooter I remember actually enjoying, because it had the dual analog. Yeah, and that was really cool. I don't know how many games had that beforehand, but that's the first time I had played that on a Nintendo system.
Plus, it was the spiritual successor to Perfect Dark and GoldenEye, because most of the main developers started Free Radical, and that was like their big new thing. So, like, for anybody who was into those games, like Time Splitters was the thing to go to, because that was where the main developers went to. So it's like it's great. And then what was it, Haze, that killed them later? That PlayStation 3 game.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I've only played this one,
because I know they did the FPS on PS3 that didn't work well. There's also like a famous video.
Oh, you mean an actual game killed the company? I thought you meant a villain in the Time Splitter series.
No, Haze. That's a game. I think it's Haze. I don't know. If it's wrong, tweet at me and tell me. But
like hay, but plural.
Haze.
Oh, okay.
There's a picture of a guy on the front cover with a mask with the part over his eye missing, and you can see his eyeball. Anyway, It was a game they put a lot of money into, and it bombed.
I'll superimpose the image over this part.
Yeah, they were originally going to do Star Wars Battlefront 3, and there's actually a video out there showing. Yeah, I got it, Haze, and there's the picture with the broken eye.
I thought it was Hay '.
Anyway, there's a video out there of a engine that they did where you can actually have a battle on the planet and take off into space and fight in space. It's super cool. Free Radical was an awesome company. I was always hoping for a Time Splitters HD re-release, but it never happened. Anyway, what else you got? So I had to get on a tangent there for Time Splitters 2, because that's an awesome game.
No worries. I mean, that's the game, like, someone at the show saw I had it in my hand and complimented it, and then I posted it on Twitter, and someone commented, like, thumbs up just because you got Time Splitters 2. So I mean, it's a beloved game, I can tell.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. We also the Columbia related story. When I lived in the dorms at Columbia, I used to take my GameCube down to like the smoking lounge and try to get people to play multiplayer. And I bought Time Splitters 2 down there, and that was a hit. Everybody loved it. So we would play like split screen in the smoking lounge at the Columbia dorms.
But there was a time whenever we would hang out, we would always play Time Splitters 2. So that was.
It's a good game.
Good game. Yeah.
It's a really good game. I remember I used to, like in the smoking lounge, it was pretty much Time Splitters 2 or whatever the Mario Party was out at the time, the GameCube one. It was like either one. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It was a cool split screen. I know that GameCube got some shit for not having an online mode on there, but whatever, you know. I still want to get a modem for the GameCube eventually, but I never found one.
So I did not purchase this at the Midwest Gaming Classic, but this is really cool. I really like this. Trey knows the person that made this.
So that's not a purchase, but it's an awesome cross-stitch.
Gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a gift from Jess, who's on the Honey Darling show, is Trey's fiance.
Yeah, and she's on this show sometimes too.
Yeah, she's been on the show. She was on the Donkey Kong Country episode.
Yeah, and Animal Crossing and Miitopia.
But yeah, it's really, really cool. I really love it, and look at that.
Yeah,
isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, she asked me what kind of sprite you would want as a cross stitch, and I said that I was like, maybe Pink Yoshi. I mean, I gave her a few different ideas, but she liked Pink Yoshi the best, and found that picture.
It turned out really good. I love it.
Yeah, Nice. It's got a nice spot there. Since we're doing...
I pretty much like hung it up as soon as I got home.
I didn't get this week, but here's another one that Jess did. This is mine that she made for me. This is the Golem from Dragon Warrior, so I think it's super awesome. He's like one of my favorite monsters from the Dragon Quest series. So that was the first sprite that I asked for when she asked me what to cross stitch. I was like, make this dude. He's fucking awesome.
Man, they're really good. She does a really good job.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything else I got was either art or clothing. So I'll just point. I think I'm just gonna point at things.
Sure.
Yeah, do like this.
Jeremy's going mobile. He's
going mobile here.
He's off the grid.
All right. All right, I'm off the grid. So I got hold on, let me point. This right here. Shit. Hold on a second here. Damn it. All right, this is from a game called Galactic Battleground. I actually played it on the show floor with the developers. So this was like a little promotional sticker they gave away, but it's a really cool game. We'll talk about it a little bit more when we talk about the show, but yeah, so that was some free swag from that. Here I've got a Moogle. It's like a really nice decal. I just didn't even take it off the paper. It's just tacked to my wall here, but it's a really nice decal that I'm going to eventually stick to something. Hold on, get this out of the way. This is a hand-drawn picture of KK Slider by an artist named T. McCann. We'll put his name in the description, but he did this and this Yoshi right up here, and they were only like $5 a piece, so I thought it was pretty cool. They were actual hand-drawn works of art for $5. Let's see, what else did I get? Up here are from the interview you're about to hear from It's Super Effective, the Pokemon podcast. Got a Slowpoke Nyan Pop-Tart cat, and then the logo here, It's Super Effective. Here's a Boo. That's another one of those really nice decals.
Yeah, it just bought a couple of those too. I think she got like a Pseudo Wudo and a Ditto from Pokemon, so they're pretty cool.
Yeah, they're really nice. They're like super detailed. I got a Shy Guy too.
Nice.
And I got this Mario. He's actually a magnet, but I just have him tacked to the wall. But it's one of the pearl beads or perler beads, whatever they say. If you look back here, I got a Grr dressed from Invader Zim dressed up as Pikachu. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then I got Ness. Hold on. There's Ness. So yeah, let's see. I think that's everything on my wall that's new. I didn't get this at MGC, but this is what I got for my Secret Santa on Reddit. It's a little Magus pocket watch. It's kind of hard to see. Mm-hmm. It's like a chibi Magus.
What's Magus from?
Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger, yeah. So it's like a pocket watch. It's kind of cool. And two more things. Got this shirt right here.
Got a cool purple Midna shirt.
Yeah, it's got Midna and Link in wolf form.
It's a cool
I
design.
believe that's made by, I think they're called Yeti.
Yeah, Yeti. It's like,
and I got one more shirt from them.
I like that the Tears of Light are on there. Those cursed Tears of Light.
Cursed Tears of Light. This is the other shirt I got. This is a kind of a cutesy Yoshi's Island t-shirt.
Yeah, that one's cool. I mean, they're both cool, but this one's like super. They look like their eyes are dilated or something. Like they're on some sort of. Maybe they're on. Maybe they're on Fuzzy.
Fuzzy and got dizzy.
Yeah, they're on some Fuzzy. I was thinking.
It looks like Fuzzy might be on there.
That should be one of the next shirts I make. Is like warped Fuzzy thing.
But yeah,
just do where the screen's all wavy.
I did say at the top of the show that I might get my Virtual Boy fixed. If I do, it'll be by this guy, Ineas Matt. Supposedly he solders the boards and makes them work again, which is something I'm not able to do. So
yeah, I wondered how much does he charge for
that?
The
price is reasonable. I think it's the most expensive one was his N64 was $15. So if it's even if it was like $30 and I had to pay $30 for shipping, to get it to work again, that might be worth it.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think that's everything.
You pay for another Virtual Boy, and you'd be taking a gamble with that, as we get yours fixed.
Right, and it's a permanent fix. Like it's better than what was originally done. So yeah, if it works, that'd be great. But yeah, that's everything I got at MGC this year. I got some random flyers and stuff, but I hung up like the Haunted Halloween one here, which is another interview you're going to hear in a little bit.
Haunted Halloween 86. I always really want to buy that game, but the main reason I don't is because I don't have working NES, so I can't play it. But as you'll find out in our interview that follows, they are planning, or they're trying to get it on Switch, so I'm hoping that it gets on there. And if it does, I'll definitely buy it. I'll buy Haunted Halloween 85 and 86. And they have a new game coming out this fall that we talk about also on there. So, I think all those should be on Switch. And I know it's already on Steam and on the Xbox One eShop, whatever that's called. You can get that on there. And they said they're trying to get it on Switch, so hopefully it'll happen sometime in the future.
Oh, yeah, and there was one more thing. One more piece of clothing.
Oh, yeah, you got the shirt. Or no, that's the hoodie, right?
Yeah, I got a hoodie with my ticket price, and I'd forgotten I ordered it.
Mm.
And, so that was a nice surprise.
It's a cool hoodie. I mean, I like it. How much was it like an extra 30 or 20 or?
I think it was like 25 extra.
Oh, okay. It's a nice looking hoodie though. I like the design on it.
So yeah, I got some swag. Just didn't get I really was hoping to grab a bunch of Super Famicom games because I last year there were so many.
Yeah.
And this year I only saw a few, and the ones I saw were either shitty ones I didn't care about or they were overpriced.
Yeah, there were some that were like $5 that I didn't really recognize any of them. And then there was one that was where they were all like sealed and they were selling them for like $20 or $40. And I'm like, what? That's ridiculous. That's way too much.
They weren't really sealed. I mean, they were sealed, but it was just
they were sealed by like
sealer.
I mean, yeah, they were sealed by wrapping. They weren't in the boxes or anything like that.
So that was kind of a bummer because I was really just hoping to buy a bunch of cheap Super Famicom games this year. It was like my number one hope.
I was hoping to see some stuff too because you bought some cool ones from the Portland Retro Expo. Like you got Mario All-Stars and
also.
Yeah, I would have gotten a Mario All-Stars if I saw one, like the Japanese one, because I don't have mine anymore. Or like Mario World or any, something like that. I do have Yoshi's Island on Super Famicom, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I would have totally bought that stuff, and I didn't actually see it. Yeah, it was weird. I felt like, I don't know, did you feel like the merch tent was a little bit lacking this year? Like I
did. I mean,
there was a lot less. There was a lot less art stuff. Like, and not a whole lot of burler bead big things, and I feel like there was more like wall art last time. Where they had like the big pictures and. I don't know. It seemed kind of I don't know. Like it's I didn't see any like Game Boy Micros. I didn't see any I didn't think I'd see a Game Boy Light.
I saw one Game Boy Micro and it was $120.
Oh yeah, fuck that.
Did that make you wish that you bought that other one?
Yes. When I was talking to I was talking to Jeremy Parrish about it actually, and he told me I should have bought it.
You should have bought it
because I told him about the price I paid for the Game Boy Light, and he was like blown away that I only paid $60 for it.
Yeah.
Is it still there? Do you know?
No, it's gone.
You should have bought it for me. I would have bought that. I wanted a Game Boy Micro, but I never found it for $60.
Well, I'll keep my eyes peeled.
Yeah.
But yeah, that might have been my $60 missed opportunity.
Yeah, sure. Well, speaking of $60, that's pretty much what I spent on my stuff this year. Let's go down the list here. So I got 3 Super Nintendo games, a 64 game, a GameCube game, and an Amiibo. So first off, probably the cheapest game I ever got, Tetrisphere. On Nintendo 64 for $5. I don't know if you guys ever played this game, but it was a fun puzzle game. Early 64 release. It's like a globe that you rotate around. I had a lot of fun with it. It was $5, so I was like, I'll get that. And I tested it out.
Yeah, man, $5.
Tested it out. It works. Let's see. Up next, I talked about getting it at that place called Vidiot's in Michigan, but now I got Vidiot's on Super Nintendo. It says 10 on there, but I think I got it for 8. But, yeah, the Ren and Stimpy game, probably the only one that I think is actually decent, and I used to play through it all the time, so I wanted to try to do a stream of it at some point. But, yeah, nice. Got Vidiot's for $8.
Is that the one that has Space Madness?
I don't think so.
Oh, one of them has a Space Madness level.
There's like 4 different levels. It starts off with the one where Ren dresses up as a rat, and they hire Stimpy to, like, fake hunt him.
Okay.
And then there's I forget what's after that. I know there's a part where there's a part where you play like the Stimpy that creates like the happy helmet and all that. Like there's a level for that. It's been a long.
The Fire Dogs?
No, Fire Dogs is basically a reskinning of that Game & Watch game where you use the trampoline to catch people. Yeah, it's actually the same thing in Earthworm Jim where the dogs fall. That's basically all that Fire Dogs is. So don't get that game. It's terrible. I have the Game Boy one still, like the straight up Game Boy Space one, which might be, that one's black and white and it takes place in space. But from all the Ren and Stimpy games that I played, and I played most of them, I thought Vidiot's was the best one. So I got that one. Also, a game that I lost on the unfortunate Super Nintendo sales was Killer Instinct. So I got it back got it for $10.
Back in black.
I know all the. I feel like all these, like all the fronts are messed up, but I don't care. The gameplay's fine. I sold Killer Instinct during that very sad day where I sold a whole bunch of my Super Nintendo games, so I got Killer Instinct back. And plus, I love having colored cartridges, so it's good to have another one. I also got Batman Returns. It says 15, but I got it knocked down to 10. So this is a super fun brawler game for Super Nintendo. I always loved playing it. It has a lot of style. The soundtrack is really good on it, and they all play great. So it's been I've been testing them. The one thing that really sucks about the Batman one, after I tried it, this like piece fell off. This thing broke right here.
Oh, wow.
I've had that happen.
And there were like 3 different Batman Returns there. I could have grabbed one that wasn't broken. They were all. Maybe that's why they cut the
piece fell off. Wow.
It's like maybe that's why they cut the $5 off for me because of this. But
you just need a cartridge you don't care about, and then replace the back of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care. It plays fine, you know? It's just like, this is the only cartridge I have that has a break like that. Like, all of the other ones are totally intact, so it's like I've never really...
My copy of Majora's Mask is like that.
Oh, really? That sucks.
Yeah, it's all busted up.
Yeah, I was going to show you the other part of it, but...
That must have taken some abuse, Jeremy. I mean, the 64 cartridge is pretty thick.
Yeah,
I think
to
it
break
just
this, it
dropped
is like...
on like a concrete floor or something.
Yeah, I think it's like, well, I was going to say, I think it's like twice the size, but it feels a lot thicker, you know, between the two of them. But those are my plastic stuff. Oh, wait, here it is. Here's the part right here. Yeah, so this part was actually still attached to it when I got it. It was just kind of like, I think it might have been sort of like half-assed glued in here.
Probably.
But yeah, it was right here, and then I go to test it, and then it comes off. So
there it goes.
I still have it, so I guess I could try to super glue it or something if I really wanted to for cosmetic purposes, but yeah, it's just, you know, I can't believe I didn't notice it. It was kind of one of the things that I was just like so excited to see it, and I wanted to try to get it for $10. Maybe they gave me the $5 discount because they knew it was broken. They're like, oh yeah, when he gets home, he's going to find that and it's going to break.
His heart's going to break.
Yeah, I mean, the game works, so that's all that matters, really. I mean, it still works. So, and I played it for a while, and I was like, man, I still like this game.
For a second there, I thought you got Batman Forever.
No.
I don't know if you ever played that, but that game's terrible.
No, yes, I played that game. I thought about getting it just because I like collecting comic book character games, but that game's awful. Like, it's awful,
it's really
awful,
bad.
awful.
I had it on Genesis.
Yeah, was it worse on that? I mean, I played it, I rented it and
Probably.
played it on Super Nintendo, and it's like, even for a fan of Batman, and I played a lot of like not great comic book games, but I could still find pleasure in them. I could not find any sort of enjoyment out of that game whatsoever. Nothing. Like,
it was really bad. Like, they digitized the actors the way that they did for Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
And it's almost like they tried to take
and it played like shit.
A fighting game, like fighting game controls, but make it a brawler.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a terrible game.
It was like the Sub-Zero Mythologies before Sub-Zero Mythologies. That's basically what it was. Same sort of thing. Sounds like a great idea on paper, but did not work well when it came out at all. So, next up is another one of my Holy Grail items, which I'm surprised that I actually got at a pretty decent price. But, ta-da! Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness.
Does it work?
Oh yeah, totally works. I got it for $39. This game normally sells for like $60 at least in box, so I got him to get down on it. It was priced at $45, and I got it to $39. There was another one on the show floor that was priced at $50 in box. It has the instruction manual too. It's super thick. I mean, back in the day when RPGs got like really thick manuals, it's awesome. Yeah, it's pretty heavy, but
nice.
Yeah, I tried that one. Of course, it has progressive scan, so it looks great on my Wii with component cables and all that. It's funny that I got this for $39 because at the same booth they were selling Skies of Arcadia for $110, like in the box with the thing and all that. And I'm like, wow.
I like that. What was the original price on that? $40, and you tried to talk them down, and they were like, "How about $39?"
No, it was $45.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was $45, and I said, I was like, would you go any lower? And he's like, how far do you want me to go? And I'm like, $35. And he gives me this look like, really?
No.
Come on. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, what do I have to do to get you to buy it right now? And I'm like, well, how low can you go? And he's like, I'll give it to you for $39. And I'm like, okay, fine. And it is like the cheapest I could find, like eBay at that time.
For a little bit though.
Oh yeah, I looked on eBay.
And then
he was
like, I bet you're not going to find it any cheaper.
And I didn't. I looked at eBay real quick.
You were like, I'm right.
I could probably get it as the disc for cheaper. It's just the disc, but I don't like doing that for GameCube games. I want the whole case. I like the whole caboodle so I can display it. When it's just the disc, I can't display it. So I like having the case for the. I don't really care for the actual cartridges, but for that. But yeah, XD. That's a game I always wanted to get. It is for all the people that say that Pokemon was never on a console. Here it is. Here's your full-on Pokemon RPG on a console. They totally did it, and it was right here. So it did exist. I was listening to NBC last week's episode, and they couldn't remember the name of this. That's why we're better than that show. They're like, like that game that was on GameCube, the Pokemon one. What was it called? And they look it up, and they're like, oh yeah, Gale of Darkness. Your
Pass of the Week though, Gale of Darkness.
No, that wasn't their skip of the week.
Skip of the week.
No, they're saying they wanted that to be the Switch Pokemon, but anyway, I guess they didn't like drool over it or dream about it for years like I did. But now I finally have it. So whenever I finish Skies of Arcadia, I'll play that one. But the big event is the one that I got on Sunday. I guess Jess got it for me because of the Hilton fiasco. But got Waddle Dee, the amiibo, for $10. I thought that was a pretty good deal. And I like, me still being a Kirby supporter / apologist. I wanted to buy some more Kirby stuff. But, since we're actually recording this, I can open it in front of the camera. So
shit.
For you
live unboxing.
For you at home that's not watching this on a computer, you get to hear the normal our normal audio unboxing, but this for people who watch YouTube, you can check this out. Anyway, get out of here, Waddle Dee.
Box is open. We're wrestling with the plastic.
Spooky's looking bored.
Dropped it.
Here he is, little Waddle Dee.
And there he is. He's free.
He's super cool.
Sitting on a sushi cloud.
Yeah, he was like the only new, like there were the Kirby ones and all of them were reprints, like just looking different. He was the only one that was actually a new character, so I kind of always wanted to get him. But there we got old Waddles. Old Waddly Dee.
That's a cool looking statue.
Yeah, I like his. He's got those little clouds with the stars and his feet in the air. He's pretty rad.
It's like he's farting cauliflower.
Yeah. So that was my final purchase on Sunday, aside from like really expensive hot dogs and cheese fries and stuff. All that shit food that we ate there. But yeah, it's like I said, it's kind of smaller. There were a couple things that I saw that I would have bought if I had more money, which I didn't, because I did find Dragon Quest 1 through 4, or Dragon Warrior 1 through 4 on NES. They had all of them in box there from different booths. They were all over like $100 each, but that's something I would love to get, like Dragon Quest 2, 3, and 4. They were all there. I have one, because that one was free with Nintendo Power. That one you can get for pretty cheap, but 2, 3, and 4 are pretty limited, and I was surprised that I found all of them. I think I saw 2 copies of 4 there, or no, maybe it was 2. I think I saw 2 2s and a 3 and a 4, so if I had like an extra $500, I could have got all those, but it's some of that stuff is just too expensive. Like I saw the Punisher game for Sega Genesis, which is another game I'd love to get, but that was like $130, like with the box. Like I'm like, I can't. Like maybe it was $30, I'd do it, but it's like a beat 'em up with Nick Fury's in it too. It's like a 2-player thing, and you can shoot people, and it's a great game actually. It's an arcade port, but I saw that one there and I couldn't get it. I also saw most expensive game I saw there was Little Samson in box for $3,200, which is hilarious because like in big letters it says 3,500, and then there's a cross through it, and under it says 3,200. It's just funny that they took $300 off, and they think people will be like, "Oh, I'll buy it now." It's not
I was willing to pay 3,500 maybe, but when I saw it was 32, I was like, "Shit, I gotta get this deal."
I mean, it's already $3,000. It's like if you're gonna pay $3,000, I think whether it's 500 or 300 really or 200 doesn't really matter. But I thought that was cool. It was in a glass case, of course, so no one could touch it. But was there any like super pricey stuff that you saw, Jeremy, that you were like, oh, that's too much, or like, that's something I kind of want, but it's way too expensive?
Well, I had mentioned I wanted a Dreamcast, and the cheapest one of those I saw was, I think, 60 or 65.
Yeah.
Which just seems too much. Like, I think I can buy one in town at Disc Replay for like 40. So I was like, I might as well just wait till I get home and not carry that overpriced thing home.
Sure.
So that, and then the PlayStation 2 was like 90.
Wow. Yeah, for the original big one.
To get it with all the hookups and the controller and stuff. And
That's
that seemed overpriced too. So, as far as anything like extravagantly overpriced, not really. I mean, there are these like custom N64s that were kind of dumb looking, and those were like 180, I think. Mm-hmm. And they just were like, somebody did some custom plastic molding and made them look like Mario's overalls or something. And it was almost as bad as that Pikachu one that you stood by, but not as bad. But
that Pikachu one.
So you ruined the N64 and want me to pay more.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For their their artistic intent or whatever it's called. Something I did see cool that I haven't seen ever is Japanese GameCube games. There's one of the booths there had a bunch of Japanese GameCube games. Had like the Biohazard, Resident Evil, and like Luigi's Mansion and Pac-Man and a bunch of other stuff. I don't know if the GameCube's backwards compatible. I'm thinking it probably isn't. But they're like, the cases are probably like, they're like this big. They're like a third of the size of the regular United States GameCubes. So I thought that was cool. They're like the size of the disc, but a little bit taller. But those are really neat to see. I think they were going for like $40-$50, but it was just cool to see.
Like a Switch case?
Smaller than Switch cases. I'd say it's probably about
Is it the size of the disc that the disc for the Game Boy Player comes in?
It's about, I guess. It's like the size. It's like the width of the disc of the GameCube disc, and then it's just a little bit taller. So like about from like here to here. So those are really cool to see. That whole booth that they were at was super overpriced. Everything was overpriced there, but it was cool that they had Japanese GameCube games. Do you guys want to, we should probably talk about our overall thoughts on the show, right? Before we get to Billy Mitchell, or should we do Billy Mitchell first?
Talk about your thoughts.
Okay.
So, like, you both been there before, and you say you're at a new venue now. What was the difference?
Well, everything... It wasn't as crowded as I thought it would be. It actually didn't seem all that crowded, I guess, in the long run. But it was, everything's a lot more spread out now. It was cool that they were able to like put the museum and the pinball stuff and a lot of the arcade stuff in the same room. Like that was really nice. They had a really huge room for that. So like coming in there, and on Sunday I actually did go look at a lot more of the museum stuff, which I didn't really get to do, like all the stuff that's on the old TVs and all that stuff up front. I played more of that. But yeah, right at the front, you got all the all the like museum area, which is like basically console games and like tube TVs and all that stuff. And then to the side, you got like your full on 8-player Smash Brothers hooked up and a couple like Mario Kart 8s going, stuff like that. There was a Switch there playing Mario Odyssey. I wanted to try it. Like last year they had a couple Switches going, and I was able to like, you hit home and I looked at their games and they had other stuff, and I think I played like Fast Racing RMX and some other stuff on there than what was set up. But there was always somebody on Super Mario Odyssey, so I was never able to play around with that. But they had like a whole light gun area, and they had the Super Scope 6 hooked up for the Terminator 2 arcade game, so that's pretty cool. I didn't know that worked with Super Scope 6, so I used that for a while. That'd give you a game to actually play with it, right? And I saw a kid buy a Super Scope 6 there. Like right when I walked past, somebody actually bought one. That's kind of on my holy grail too. I know there's not a whole lot of games for it, but I kind of always wanted that thing, the big giant.
It's really cheap.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I still want to get it, but the only one I saw somebody bought like right before I got to it. So, but I saw a lot of Super Scope 6 games, like the one that came with it, and I saw a lot of those for a couple bucks. But they got their light gun area. The Zelda's crossbow training was there also, which is funny because I remember John actually bought that crazy plastic attachment thing, and you gave me the crossbow game, and I love that crossbow game. I played the shit out of it. I played it all the way through. I still have it. So.
I have 2 copies.
Yeah, I
of it.
bought that for you too. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was good. It was cool to see that game again on there and people playing it. But yeah, there were a ton of pinball games. There were 4 working Medieval Madnesses there, which is like my favorite pinball game ever. So I get to play that for a while. They had they made like wooden cabinets for the Zen pinball games, so you could play that like as a pinball game, but it had a big like screen on it, so that was really cool.
That's cool.
Like Jess played Bob's Burgers on that, which leads me to my other purchases for the week, which I haven't mentioned yet. I ended up buying I bought the Fox pinball set that comes with like Archer, American Dad, Family Guy, and Bob's Burgers. I pretty much bought it for Bob's Burgers for Jess because she really liked playing it on the show floor, and she's been playing that game. I also got the Doom Skyrim Fallout as well to play, and the Doom pinball is kind of a little confusing. I couldn't figure out what to do. It's also like super dark, which I guess makes sense for Doom, but doesn't make sense for a pinball game. So I was having a hard time figuring out where to hit the ball to. But yeah, I played that. I used the try one. I did the vertical mode and played it all that. I actually realized that you can also like flip the Joy-Cons off and you can play it vertically with your thumbs on the screen, like it's a mobile game. So that's really cool.
That's cool.
If you don't have a try one and you actually want to like take it portably, you can play pinball just like that, just by tapping the screen. So that's cool. And I also bought Wild Guns Reloaded for this week's purchase, the $30 HD re-release of it, which I think it's a little overpriced still. You can watch my video on YouTube. I just put it up there with commentary and all that. Once I figured out that on beginner mode you can play through the game with unlimited lives, that really helped me because the game's incredibly hard. But if you're just trying to go through it without like doing that mode, it will take you a lot longer. But that's on there. It came out this Tuesday. It's probably like my pick of the week because I don't really know like what else. I haven't really seen much coming out tomorrow that looks interesting. But also, it isn't here yet, but I already pre-purchased Labo and from Amazon, so it's getting delivered here on Friday, hopefully. Maybe tomorrow if I'm one of those lucky people that get stuff early. So those are my releases or my purchases. I continued to buy stuff after that because I finally got all that money back from the Hilton, and I was like, well, shit, I might as well get Wild Guns Reloaded and those pinball games. But yeah, I mean that was what I think about the show floor there. I guess.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, similar. So I remember saying on the last episode, I said I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I think we might have witnessed the golden years. I do kind of feel that way in a little bit, but you'd seen 2 shows previously. I just saw the one last year, but I don't think that things are as inaccessible as I thought they might be, especially the people. Like it still seemed like you could speak to anyone you wanted to talk to.
Yeah.
We still got to hang out with like people at the bar and got to meet a lot of cool people and actually talk to some of the special guests that were there and stuff, as you'll hear in our interviews. So yeah. I thought like it was a little bit of both of my expectations of like, of expecting to be disappointed in some ways because it was larger, but also like hoping that there would still be that intimacy that seemed to be at this versus like the Portland one that I went to. And it totally was that. Like it still like felt more personable. Like you could just talk to anybody at this one. And so that was cool. And I think, double down on what you said. It felt like the vendor tent was lacking. There was a lot more space, but everything was more spread out, and it didn't seem like there was. I don't know. Maybe my thought was maybe that booths were more expensive or tables because.
Oh yeah, that could
I didn't see any like the rock bottom like. Last year there was like I remember there's one booth that was just like it looked like a garage sale. It was just like bins full of shit that you had to dig through, and like I mean whatever. I don't think I bought anything from that booth, but it was cheap. You could buy stuff for like $1 there, and I didn't see any booth like that at this show. Like everything, I guess, was a little classier than that. There was no standing water on the ground. It wasn't a dirt floor.
Well, this one was that one was outside in a tent,
right? So I guess it got classed up a little bit, but that came at the detriment of like some of that kind of flea market feel that it had before.
Oh, sure. Well, we did come across a bin, like a free bin, like Jess and I did on Sunday.
Oh.
And it was filled with a whole lot of Star Wars VHS tapes in there. Some Star Trek VHS tapes also, like ones that are like 2 episodes from Next Generation, or like a metal Pokemon case that like has no lid, or like random stuff like that. It was hilarious. Yeah, we did come across a bin that just said like "take me," like free, and I couldn't find anything worth taking out of there. Even as much as I would love to have Episode 2 on VHS, I mean, I already have it on Blu-ray and DVD, so I don't need
the Nintendo PlayStation was there, of course. So it's the 3rd time I've seen it.
That's true, and
it was just right up front when you like got your ticket.
Yeah, right when we walked in, it was right in the corner. There wasn't a whole lot of ceremonious stuff about it. Like, I don't think there was any panel about it, or maybe we missed it. I don't know. I do kind of miss like how like condensed it was in the previous years, because it was really easier to get to the panels, I guess, because this one was on 2 floors. And I also miss it all being in one hotel. Like last year, like if you went to the hotel bar, you pretty much saw every special guest that was there because they were all at the bar.
Yeah.
Like last year we walked into the hotel, like went straight to the bar, and Bob Mackey's just sitting there at the bar. And it's like, oh yeah, there's Bob, there's Ben Heck, there's all these other people.
Yeah.
They're all like right there. So I do kind of miss that, because we went to the bar in our hotel a couple times. And that's when we saw Billy Mitchell the first time, which we'll talk about in a couple minutes. But we saw him there. But I was like trying to figure out, like, I wonder where the Retronauts are staying at. And turns out they were at a completely different hotel. Like there were a lot of different hotels that were all attached to the city center. So it's kind of like there were different options.
Pretty cool, really.
Yeah. So, I mean, people were all spread out all over the place. So it wasn't as easy to just like randomly run into somebody at the hotel bar. Plus our hotel probably had like 10 bars anyway, so we probably wouldn't even, they're all weird parties and stuff that happened. But I don't know. Everything was kind of separated in other rooms. We went to the indie stuff. Jess and I did like the mobile indie stuff the last day. Some of that stuff was cool. Signed up for some betas. A couple of them. I talked to them about. Everybody's trying to get on the Switch, so they did mention that they were a couple of them were hoping for a Switch release in the future. So I guess it's kind of like a pre-Nintendo thing. And of course, Kevin had a room. There's an iPlay Games room. Nintendo Age, we got to hang out with them. We did talk to them. There's an interview in there for that. Like, guys that are making Nintendo games now, which is really cool that they have a room for that. And there's some other games in there, which we didn't get interviews for. We only got them for like, 4. Like one guy did 3 and one guy did 1. But one of the main guys we talked to is like supposedly like the big development guy about Memblers.
Yeah.
He's a big deal.
Guy.
So yeah, the one who didn't say that much and is super humble. But we found out later from, Haunted Halloween 86 that he's like the dude. He's the fucking main.
He's like the OG
program dude. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say about the show?
Just that I had a great time, and at first, what I do remember, like at first, I didn't get to stay at the show the whole time. I had to leave early to get back to work, and there's just this crazy like storm, like winter storm in Milwaukee, and turns out like a lot of the people that flew in I saw on Twitter like got stranded because of the snowstorm, and it was just a lot of bad weather up in the north I guess the northern part of the Midwest. I don't know in the U.S.
Did you make to work okay?
Yeah, I did, but I was kind of bummed out I had to leave early, that I didn't get to spend as much time on the show floor and playing games as last year. But once I got home and like got settled back in, was home safe and everything, and all the stress was gone, I realized I had like a better time than any of the shows I've been to, because I like got to talk to like some really cool people and like met some new friends, and just had like a really good time. Like we did some karaoke, which is not really part of the thing, but that was fun. And then, like,
shout out to the High Note. This super seedy, like dive bar of a karaoke bar, which I love. I love those type of bars, so it was fun. I got to do. I sung my favorite karaoke song, "Too Drunk to Fuck," and the karaoke DJ was pretty blown away by it, because he said in his 6 years of karaoke DJing, nobody had ever sang that song. So that's always good to hear when you can, startle the audience and all that, which is pretty much what that song is. But it's so much fun to sing. And
then we got to go to the 1983 arcade bar. We met
with the Retronauts,
other podcasters, and
friends of the show.
Well,
friends of the show, Bob Mackey and Jeremy Parrish. We met Nate Lockhart. He does another podcast as well. And Caitlin Oliver, who's like holds one of the records for Splatterhouse. She was on Retronauts last year. A friend of the show, Janet Garcia, was there also. We get to hang out with her. Jeremy got to meet her in person and talk to her.
Finally.
Kevin Fair was there also from I Play Games. And
it was cool meeting Kevin also.
Yeah, so we all got to hang out and have shots and get drunk. And they had NES Classics and Super Nintendo Classics hooked up, so... I remember like Jess rocked a lot of Super Mario Brothers 3 on there on the TV behind the bar, so that was fun. We got to play some of that stuff.
My favorite, they had the mixed drinks that were video game themed. I didn't get any cocktails, but
like the Double Dragon.
There's a guy who got the Double Dragon, and it was literally 2 drinks. It was 2 Red Bull vodkas.
Yeah, that's all it was 2 Red Bull vodkas. And he's like, I don't know why there's 2, and I'm like, oh well. And I was like, I was wondering why it was $10. Like, there can't be, like, $10 for a Red Bull vodka seems kind of ridiculous, especially in, like, Milwaukee. I mean, we were drinking rye whiskeys for, like, $4. Like, that's pretty much unheard of in Chicago. But, you know, it was, but that was fun. Yeah, we all got good and wasted. And probably the reason that I didn't buy as many games is I did spend most of my money at the arcade bar buying drinks for everybody there. But it was fun. And I didn't play any of the arcades there, but we had a lot of drinks and talked about podcasts and podcasting and all that. So it was really fun. And thanks to everyone that we met there. You know, we had an awesome time.
Some of whom may be on future episodes.
Hopefully. Yeah, that's the plan. We may have a couple guests in the future here. So it's cool. Well,
I had a fantastic time, and I'm sad it's over. It feels almost like church camp or something back in the day. Like that feeling like, man, I'm not going to be around all those people again for another year. Mm-hmm. But I had a really good time with them while I was there.
Yeah, I was really happy
get to play anything cool that you haven't played before?
Not really this time around. I played this game, like I said, and which I already forgot the name of it, unfortunately. But
Space Cat Battlegrounds, something like that.
Yeah, and it was with the guys who made the game. So the 2 gentlemen who had programmed it were there. And so, like, one other guy on the show floor was playing the game with me, and Galactic Battleground. But it was a really cool arcade cabinet. It had beer holders built into it. You know, it's meant to be a party game. There's a lot of power ups, and you're not just shooting at each other. You're also trying to push asteroids at each other, and there's like stationary turrets that you can shoot and cause them to shoot in different directions, so they're like firing back at the other guys. So it was pretty fun. The 2 guys were super nice and were answering a bunch of questions about the game while I was playing it. So I thought that was cool.
Do you remember what that analog game was that they had in the arcade room that we played in the Galloping Ghost room? It's called like Mountain Climber or something, and it had like a little pinball ball and like these silver like hills and a steering wheel, and it was like pretty cool. Like you would basically, these hills would go up and down like as you turned the steering wheel, and you basically wanted to try to like move this ball all the way up to the top without it falling out any of the holes on the side. And that game was really cool. Like, it's not a video game at all. Like, there's no video stuff to it at all. It's all completely analog, but that was really fun to play. Like, it was just an interesting game that I'd never seen before, and I was like, wow, this is pretty awesome, you know?
Yeah, I was watching a guy play it, and it looked really hard.
Yeah, you basically got to go, like, really quick. You got to be like, you know... Yeah, I had fun with that. But it really
did. It looked like something from, like, you know, maybe that like 50s or 60s, or I don't know if it was really that old, but it looked like it was.
Super old school analog stuff. Yeah, Jess and I, that on Sunday it was actually open because most of the time there were people in there. And we played it for a while and tried to figure it out. I think I got to like the second to the last. I almost got all the way to the top, but it was cool. Like once you figure out how to do it, you got to be really fucking quick on it though, because you can't.
I didn't see that football game.
Yeah, the football game wasn't there. The Atari football that we played last year with the trackball. I was looking for that one, but I didn't find it anywhere, unfortunately. So I played that new, the Mortal Kombat guys were there. Johnny Cage, Liu Kang, and Jax, they were all there. We didn't get interviews with them because I figured they were too busy, and I don't know. But Galloping Ghosts, they have a new game coming out. I forget what it's called, but Dark Presence, something like that. Anyway, you could
try it.
You could play that there. Yeah, Jess and I played it. It's kind of a funny game because it's like, it's supposed to be like a new Mortal Kombat game, so it's like all these actors recorded fighting each other, but it's in HD, so it ends up looking like a hilariously bad, like 90s CD-ROM, you know, like live action thing. It reminds me of those, like, you remember those like hologram arcade games, the Sega ones, with like the magician and stuff like that. It reminds me of that, where it's like, it looks cool, but it doesn't really work, and it's weird.
Canned animation.
Yeah, it just looks so funny, and like one of the owners, Doc Mack, he's a character on there, and like of course the Mortal Kombat guys are in there, and they help them figure out all their moves and all that, and it's kind of funny. Like if it ever gets a Switch release, I'll totally buy it just like for the fun of playing it. But it looks kind of, just because it's like I said, because it's live action and it's HD, it looks kind of hilarious. And the background is polygon, which makes it even weirder, because it's like real pictures of people, like flat pictures of people on a 3D background. It just feels so bizarre to me to play that game. But yeah, Jess and I played it.
The guys from Galloping Ghosts.
Yeah, it was like their passion project. They wanted to make a like Mortal Kombat like 1, 2, or 3 style new arcade game. Where there's actual like actors doing the moves and all that. So, but I'll be really interested. And there were two big arcade cabinets there that you can play of it. And I remember them talking about it last year, and it's still just being like a glimmer in their eye and all that. And now it's like actually out there. So it's awesome. So big news thing that we haven't talked about yet. It happened in between shows, but I actually think we did kind of hint at this because that one guy got outed about his scores. I don't remember his name, but the guy who played all those games that nobody else had played, and he said he had a certain score, and like some scientist,
something, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Some scientists looked at it and they're like, this isn't real. And people were saying like, Billy Mitchell is coming next, and I'd read some stuff about his stuff maybe being an emulation or whatever. Anyway, he got completely like kicked out of Twin Galaxies. Like none of his scores are real, and he's banned for life, is what I heard. So he can never be in there ever again.
Guinness World Records.
Yeah, and Steve Wiebe is now the official first person to break 1 million on Donkey Kong. So, because now Billy Mitchell's
I saw an interview with, or read an interview with Steve Wiebe, and one of the things that he was commenting on was, he said he never thought that the story would end like this, and he was reflecting on how Hollywood was trying to make a King of Kong, fictionalized narrative, but they could never quite do it because the end wasn't all that satisfying.
Yeah.
And now he's saying he wouldn't be surprised if people start knocking on his door again.
Because now there's the cheating and all that, yeah.
Because now there's the satisfying ending where he wins in the end.
Mm-hmm. Well, he does win in the end, and in the original one. It's in the credits, but at King of Kong there is... Because remember, like, at the very end, he's in his basement, and you hear the noises, and slowly climbs up, and he does break 1 million again. Yeah,
he was saying that he thinks now there might be... he was hinting that there might be a chance for the Hollywood version to get made now with this story.
Yeah. And even, like, the first time I met Billy Mitchell, we did, back when John was just a guest, we did our King of Kong episode, where we talked about Billy Mitchell, and I was kind of on his side because he was talking about like how he was misrepresented and all that. And I don't know all the details of it, but we did actually get to meet Billy Mitchell at MGC, so I did get to directly talk to him. I didn't talk to him about the scores and all that in particular. I was just trying to figure out whether he was going to have a panel or not. But I did talk directly to him and Richie Knuckles, like just saying like, "Hey man, what's up?" And I was just like, I just came up to him and I was like, "Hey, I know you're doing like a statement later, but is there going to be a panel or something that I can go to?" I was like, "I totally go and watch it." And he was very much like, "Yeah, I want to get a panel. Like, I want to see everybody like being angry at me and like record that." And like, he's almost like Billy Mitchell is such like I mentioned this to Bob at the arcade, but he's so much like a wrestler. He reminds me of like a professional wrestler that just like, he wants to be the heel. He just wants everybody to hate him because he loves like the publicity out of it. And that's very much like what Billy Mitchell is. And that's
nice to be the villain.
Yeah. He kind of runs with it. He's like, I want people to be angry at me. I want to get footage of that. Like I want gnashing teeth and all that. I'm like, yep, that's, it reminds me of like NWO or like, you know, like
I mean,
that,
the dude,
type of thing.
I don't think the dude was scheduled to be there as far as I know. And he was at,
he
was
wasn't.
at a game convention, and he was it just in the midst of the controversy. He's just out there in the public hanging out with people. I mean, I thought it was pretty ballsy and kind of like contrary to what most people that are wrapped up in controversy would do.
Yeah.
Right.
Walter Day was there too. So
Walter Day was there. Yeah, I saw him
together, or
I don't think they were. I think Walter Day was just there. But Richie Knuckles, he was at that Arcade Expo when I first met Billy Mitchell. He's been a big supporter of his, and he used to work for Twin Galaxies as well. And they did a statement. We can listen to it on the show if you want to, and we could talk about it more if you want. It's very quick.
Sure.
So does that mean it said it was on Keemstar's channel? Was Keemstar there? Because he's kind of a pretty big YouTuber.
I don't know who Keemstar is. I thought it was on Richie Knuckles' YouTube. It has 204,000 views, so.
Hi, I'm Billy Mitchell. We're here at the Midwest Gaming Classic. I'm here with Old School Gamer Magazine. I've been asked to address things that are recently in the media. The fact of the matter is, now there is a true professional due diligence being done to investigate things that happened as far as 35 years ago. In a professional manner, not in a shock jock mentality designed to create hits. We will show that everything that has been done, everything was done professionally, according to the rules, according to the scoreboard, the integrity that was set up, not 2014 forward by the current regime who wants to reach back 35 years. Everything will be transparent. Everything will be available. I wish I had it in my hands right now. I wish I could hand it to you. But it's taken a considerable amount of time. Witnesses, documents, everything will be made available to you. Nothing will be withheld. You absolutely have my commitment to that. We've been at this since 1982, and it's not going to stop now.
So, yeah. That's,
very cryptic.
There's Billy Mitchell's statement on that. Recorded on the show floor. He must have recorded it Sunday because he's wearing his black suit, because he was wearing a white suit on Saturday. I actually have pictures of him on Twitter at Ninten_domain of him playing Pac-Man on the arcade floor, which was pretty cool. And and while he was doing it, they cut the power, so I thought that was even funnier. Because at the end of the day, you know, when the show closes, they just flip a switch and all the arcades go down. Instead of like going around and telling people to stop playing, you know, they just shut them all off at 8:00. And I was on the Medieval Madness pinball machine, and I look at my watch and it says 8. You know, I look at my phone and it says 8:00. And I'm like, oh, you know, maybe we'll get to go for a little bit longer. And like right after that, it's like boom, and everybody's like, no, and they all yell at the same time.
It was pretty hilarious. Somebody had I noticed one of the staff of the convention center had their phone up in the air recording it right at the moment that the power went off. They must have expected it because there was just this giant cacophony of this giant room. It was pretty awesome.
And it's funny because on my way to Medieval Madness, I walked past Billy Mitchell playing Pac-Man, and right before I talked to him, somebody came up to him and asked him about his scores, and he said they were all legit. You know, he said, yeah, my Pac-Man scores are legit, whatever. And then that video, you know, he's saying that he has evidence to prove that everything is legit, so I'm kind of interested to see what becomes of that. Of course, we'll follow it on NintenDomain Podcast because, you know, Billy Mitchell is quite a guy, and he's fun guy to talk about. But yeah.
And coincidentally, he did follow me on Twitter, so you know.
Well, that's
we're kind of friends now.
Well, you did get a picture with him and posted it and all that. Which I don't know if I ever posted that picture I got of him from that arcade expo. But yeah, according to that video, he came to the show with the old school, the retro gaming magazine. So, or was it Old School Gaming Magazine? It was
Old
like
School Gaming Magazine.
Yeah.
The same magazine that I saw at the convention I went to.
Yeah, I thought about.
Yeah, I have a copy of it.
Yeah, I thought about talking to them or whatever because I know you said they were looking for writers, but yeah, he was over by their booth, so he did have a booth technically, like their booth. So he was there.
I saw someone had tagged on Instagram that they bought his hot sauce, so he must have had some of his.
Oh, of course, yeah. He always brings that shit with him. It's expensive. Like it was like $60 or something when I saw him at the arcade expo before. But yeah, funny thing about the them killing the arcades. At the end of the day, I just want to mention on Sunday speaking of games you wanted to play, I really wanted to play Cuphead. They had a Cuphead on display there, and there were people on it all day, and finally somebody got off of it, and I walked over there to play it for like the last 20 minutes on Sunday, and the dude was like, he's like, I gotta unplug this before they shut the stuff down. I'm sorry, you can't play it. So I never got to play it. He like pushed me away. He's like, no, you can't play it. He's like, I gotta turn this down like right before they turn the power off, so like the system doesn't get messed up. And I'm like, okay. I mean, like I've been sitting here for like 10 minutes waiting to play this game, and you can't give me like a couple minutes with the game. Like, come on, dude. But yeah, I got shooed away from Cuphead. So that was a game I wanted to play that was on the show floor, but there was always somebody on it.
There was one game that kept working when everything else was off.
Oh yeah, that was the fighting games in the corner. That was like Dragon Ball Fighters and Street Fighter. Those were still on when everything else went off. But yeah, I mean, that was Billy Mitchell's big statement. I'm wondering what his evidence is, and I love that after I was comparing him to a professional wrestler, like in the video, he says that it's not like scare tactics or like whatever you would call it, like to just try to get people to look at it, but it totally is.
Publicity stunt.
Yeah, publicity stunt or whatever. What do you guys think? Do you think
Billy
Mitchell got a raw deal?
We were sitting at the bar, and of course we were talking about Billy Mitchell because it's the hot topic.
Yeah, we didn't expect him to be there.
I still think it was strange that we were sitting there talking, and then, all of a sudden you're like tapping on me, like, look behind you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, what? Like,
and he was there.
Like, it took me off guard, of course.
In his fucking white suit.
And I turn around, and he was like 6 feet away on a cell phone, And it was a normal cell phone, but in my mind, I imagined it as a giant, like 90s cell phone.
Yeah, right. Just to match his giant hair and his just giant self. He's like a super tall dude. He's big.
He's really tall.
Yeah, but it was funny. I just turned around. I was like, oh god, he's right there. So yeah, Billy Mitchell. Anyway, all this speak of MGC. Let's cut to our interviews that we did at the show. Hi, this is Trey and Jereme here from NintenDomain Podcast. We're at the MGC 2018 show, and we're here in the Nintendo Age area of the show. And I guess I didn't get you guys' names yet, but you did some games here, right?
Yeah, I'm Bo from Soul Goose Productions, and
I'm Mimblers from Mimbler Industries.
Cool. And tell me about some of the games that you guys have here.
I have a game that's sort of like a Robotron-esque deal. You play with two NES controllers. You turn them sideways, so you got your thumbs on each D-pad, and then run one direction and shoot all the others.
I think it's really cool. You've got a modified Virtual Boy controller plugged into it right now.
Yeah, so like holding two controllers is not the funnest thing. So I modified it to work with a Super Nintendo controller through an adapter, and then also a Virtual Boy controller, because it was the only Nintendo controller with dual D-pads.
Oh yeah, right.
I see it's only plugged into one port. I was wondering how you made that work. It's just some kind of adapter, or did you have to put a board inside of the controller?
No, you actually just solder on the NES cable to a Virtual Boy controller, and you run it. You just have to sort of pull the controller differently.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it works the same way that the Fourscore works.
That's cool. I actually have a couple extra Virtual Boy controllers. That's why I'm interested.
It's a good use for them. You got to imagine most Virtual Boys are pretty much dead at this point, so there's a lot of controllers.
They don't work very well.
Yeah, when I walked in, it was like red. The screen was, and I was like, "Oh, is it only red and black?" But I see that it has color.
Yeah, Space Helmet TV.
Yeah, no, this is audio only, so you can't really see it, but everybody at home. But yeah, it's a rounded TV thing. Jereme will tweet it later. But and it's Spookotron. I don't know if we said the name of it already, but you said it's like a Robotron, right? So sort of a dual stick thing, but with the digital pad, right?
Yeah, well, you can use two NES controllers. You can use the Super. You can use the Virtual Boy, and yeah, it's just sort of a Halloween-themed, kind of Virtual Boy-esque game. It's got less randomness than Robotron did.
Oh, okay.
But
are there levels? Like, do you progress?
Yeah,
like, as
yeah.
you go?
101 levels.
Wow.
A lot of them were designed by Kickstarter backers.
Oh, cool.
And yeah,
nice. What inspired you to make this?
I was sort of once I figured out you could use a Virtual Boy controller and nobody else had done it yet, I was like, you know what? I'm going to find a game that I can make that uses it. And
nice.
So Robotron's sort of the go-to with dual stick things, and just kind of came from that.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, this is the first time I've seen anything like that, any sort of Virtual Boy controller used for anything, aside from the Virtual Boy, of course.
I'm afraid people don't quite know what to do with it when they show up and they grab the Virtual Boy controller, they see the NES cartridge, and they're like, huh? What's going on here? But they seem to enjoy it.
I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? I mean, just hit
One would
start and
hope.
just run with it.
It's actually kind of fun to watch how confused people look when they walk by, especially with the thing down on it.
For sure. Oh yeah. That when the visor on it. That's what I'm saying. When it was red and white was when I thought it was a Virtual Boy thing. And you did the programming on the game also, right?
Oh yeah, this is the first game that I've programmed fully from the ground up. I did some other stuff, sort of editing another guy's work, but yeah, this one was all me, except for the art. I did have an artist, Chris Cacciatore. He did just amazing work, and then Kevin Hanley did the music on it. He runs K-Han Games, which has done a lot of NES homebrews.
Nice. And is this your only homebrew NES game that you made, or do you have other stuff?
I've published some other things. I published Swords and Runes, 0 to X, and then this is my third release, Spookotron.
Cool. I mean, do you guys sell it here, like at the show? Like, can you buy copies of it, like the cartridge?
I'm still sort of fulfilling the Kickstarter rewards and stuff like that, but I do like to get it out to demo and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Did the Kickstarter people, did they get a copy, like for a certain tier or whatever?
Most people end up with a physical, CIB copy, or there was a sort of a special edition that I'm still kind of finishing up because I wanted to do some extra things with. But yeah.
Do they come with the modified controller also, with the Virtual Boy controller?
I have offered them to backers first, and then I'll offer them to the public. But yeah, before I released the game, I decided to buy a bunch of controllers because I figured the price would spike a little bit, and I've got 40 or so sitting around.
Oh, wow.
Nice. If I was to, can you, order this online anywhere?
You can at soulgooseproductions.com. You can almost order it. Right now it says sold out, but if you wait a week or so, it should be up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, soulgoose.com then, so check that out.
Soulgooseproductions.com.
And you have a podcast as well that you do, right?
Oh yeah, I suppose I do.
Do you want to plug that on here? Go for
Sure.
it.
I run with Kevin Hanley, K-Han Games. We run a podcast called The Assembly Line, an NES homebrew podcast where each episode we talk about a different game. We sort of feature it. We talk about what's going on in the community. We sort of talk about a theoretical issue, and then we feature some music and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I take it it's all like the NES style music then, right? Or in that same
Yeah,
template or whatever?
we feature music from games or from guys who make chiptunes, stuff like that. Yeah, and it's all homebrew stuff. We don't do any licensed stuff.
Oh, okay.
But
Nice. Do you do chiptune stuff then?
Yeah. I've written a lot of music starting back in the 90s, kind of like late 98, 99 or something, and I don't write as much music lately, but I've been more into the hardware kind of thing lately, designing the circuit boards, so some of these newer games are released using my board, like the Spookotrons one, and games by Kevin Hanley like The Incident and Tailgate Party, Orib games, and some of the ones that are using my board. And
Cool. Nice. For sure.
Do you have a SoundCloud or anything like that with your music on it?
No,
So
I
most
don't.
of your music's just showing up in games.
Some of it has, yeah. I've got NSF files, and I've mostly got one big NSF file. It's got over 180 tracks. It's mostly all stuff I'd written by this point. I mean, yeah, it's got a lot of 0 to X has some of my music in it. And they're all older songs too, but I mean it's still fun stuff.
Have you tried getting anything on Spotify or anything like that, so people can or putting it on YouTube or whatever? So it's easier to
I
access?
found some of my stuff on YouTube. Other people have uploaded,
Oh,
but
they uploaded.
that's always kind of
see if we can
surprising
Yeah.
to find. But
Yeah, well, I guess that kind of happens. You should come after him with a copyright and all that. Right? Make him take it down. Block the video. Do you guys have any like future games planned? Like, are you planning on doing like any like homebrew Super Nintendo stuff or anything like that?
Ooh, Super Nintendo's a weird animal.
Because I know that I noticed there's so many homebrews for like NES, but like not a whole lot of people do like
I think
Super Nintendos or Genesis stuff or anything like that.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more intimidating for people to get into because there's a lot more expected from the game just graphically. Mm-hmm. That makes it definitely a lot harder to make.
You can't quite make it as simple, I guess, or as to the point. But I mean,
it's definitely Super Nintendo's been growing. Not as much as the NES has grown. I mean, the NES homebrews exploded pretty much, but
you get out of that range of one person being able to do anything. Although oftentimes, we'll hire an artist or a musician or whatnot. It's stuff you can't do all yourself with Super Nintendo. But Genesis homebrew's been, that's pretty solid. Pure Solar, some others, Xenocrisis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I just haven't seen it here yet, or I haven't
There's one
been.
behind you.
Oh well,
there's one back there.
Not this. I meant like previous years, not this year yet. But yeah, no, that's cool. I'm always interested in seeing like new games for old systems and all that. I think it's really cool that you guys are still doing that stuff. Do you want to just plug one more time you guys' names and where people can find you?
Oh yeah, you can find me on the NestDev website, or we have a forum there, and I have Memblers.com, but there's not really much there. It's kind of a placeholder. But other than that, I supply circuit boards for kind of independent developers. I'm not really a publisher myself. I just sort of ship the hardware so people can release their stuff and try to do good quality for a low price.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, and I run SoulGooseProductions.com. I do some publishing. I help distribute GT ROM boards for Memblers, and then make games when I can.
Nice, sweet. Well, I'm hoping I want to play the Spookotron right now because we haven't actually got to try it out yet. But yeah, that'll be what we do next. But thanks a lot, guys, for talking to us.
Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Here we are, NintenDomain podcast again. I guess I probably don't need to say this every time because this will be on a whole episode. But we have somebody from the Pokemon podcast, or is it a?
No, that's right.
Okay. I mean, because I know it's like PK.
PKMNCAS cast, yeah. But the show is called It's Super Effective.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Has the different Pokemon types. Oh, we talked to you guys briefly last year, but I wanted to actually get an interview this time. So, do you want to?
Here we are.
So
it's happening.
What's your name?
My name is SBJ, just my initials, but you can call me Steve. But yeah, I've started It's Super Effective about 8 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, a long time ago. And yeah, it's a weekly Pokemon podcast. It covers everything from Pokemon Go to Sun and Moon to the TCG to the anime, and it comes out every single Monday.
Oh, nice. Have you exceeded the number of Pokemon yet with your episode numbers?
No.
Like, are you? I don't know how many. What are there? Like 600 now or something?
There are over 800 now at this
okay.
point. Yeah.
Well, I guess you probably don't do 100 a year, but I was like 8 years. You must have a lot of
episodes.
Yeah,
no. We have like 300 numbered episodes, but when like Sun and Moon came out, we did like a 14-part series, which was like not numbered. So then,
wow,
it's a mess.
How detailed do you get in? I mean, this is just a Pokemon podcast, so like, I take it you get pretty deep into the game if you have like a 15-part episode based on.
Yeah, we do. I mean, most of it's thoughts and opinions and like how we're enjoying it or not enjoying. But standard episodes are covering Pokemon news, which I feel like if you're listening to a Pokemon podcast, you're probably already like checking news sources.
Oh, sure,
and
yeah.
so like it's just more of thoughts and opinions on the news and what we think and speculation. And then we have like a longer segment. Like, for example, 2 weeks ago, we focused a lot on Detective Pikachu because that just came out.
Yeah.
And then we do listener email, which can either be Pokemon or non-Pokemon related. And then we have our Pokemon of the Week, where we do spend time like focusing on a specific Pokemon, like Venusaur or Mareep or whatever else, Zangoose or something, where we'll look like, this is what this Pokemon's based off of, this is where it's from, this is its moveset, like so on and so forth. But overall, like a general Pokemon podcast, because you can find specific shows that are only Go related or only TCG related, but we kind of cover everything. And I guess we have the advantage of we've been doing it for so long. So
nice. What's your favorite Pokemon personally?
Oh man, I get asked that like a million times a day when I stream.
I'm sure you do. I'd like to know.
It changes. It definitely changes from time to time. But like my defaults are probably like Farfetch, which is like a Generation 1 that most people know.
Yeah.
Chandelure is really great, which
Chandelure,
is that like ghost Chandelier. And then for some reason recently I really got into Corsola, and I think it was because of Pokemon Go, because Corsola is only available near the equator. So when we were down in Texas, I spent like 2 days being like, are we close enough to get Corsola? But it's a really cute Pokemon.
Have you how far is, or how's your Pokedex doing on Pokemon Go?
Pretty good. I'm one step away from getting Mew, which is like the hot stuff. But otherwise, besides a couple regionals, Kanto's all done, Johto's all done, and just need like a Salamence and like a Slacking for Hoenn, and then I should be set.
Okay. Have you been like traveling around the world? Because aren't there ones that are only in different countries? Like
so some got released elsewhere. So like Kangaskhan's only available in Australia, but if you went to the Pokemon World Championship, Kangaskhan was spawning there.
Oh yeah.
And then for around Thanksgiving, they've made Farfetch available everywhere, which is a Japan exclusive. So the only one I think I'm really missing from Kanto is Mr. Mime, which is European exclusive.
Oh, okay. All right. Wow. Didn't they like recently update Pokemon Go? Like I've seen it out in the world more.
Yes,
recently.
they added daily quests and like daily. I guess quests. It's almost like World of Warcraft or something, where it's like
instances.
Yeah, well, not instances, but it's like World of Warcraft has a lot of like kill these 4 enemies or like collect these 5 berries. Pokemon Go has that now, where it's like catch 3 fire type Pokemon or spin 6 gyms or fight in like 3 gyms. And when you do that, you unlock rewards. And that's one of the ways to get Mew, is there's more specific ones. Like, so one of the steps for Mew is evolve a Gyarados, which takes 400 candy, which is quite a bit.
Oh yeah. The like from the Magikarp, right?
Yeah.
Is it evolved to the Gyarados? Right?
Evolved to a Gyarados, yeah. So Magikarp into Gyarados. So it's one of the hardest ones to evolve in the game. So that's one of the steps to get to Mew, which is pretty cool, of being like, hey, you should probably have a Gyarados before you get one of the rarest Pokemon in the game.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I always wonder. I mean, I played Pokemon Go a little bit, but I did get a couple of the Magikarps, and I'm like, what do I need to do to get it through? Because I would always just carry them in the group, and then just Well, in the original one, put them out first, and then cycle them out, and then put somebody stronger in there to do
in the main series
before the experience share and all that, which really made everything a lot better. What's your favorite like generation of the Pokemon games? Would you say?
Right now, I would have to say like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Gen 7, the newest ones. Okay. And the only reason I say that is like some people don't like it because there's no gyms, there's trials instead, and it's very story heavy, which people don't really enjoy because they want to skip through and stuff. I think I like it a lot because not only did it make things a lot more easier, like they got rid of HMs and all that stuff, so you don't need one Pokemon knowing Surf,
that was
one Pokemon knowing Fly.
Yeah, no, that was so good. I'm glad they finally did that.
And then just like a lot of quality of life stuff, but Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon was the first game I completed my Pokedex in finally after 20 years, because I completed Red and Blue back in the day. But all the other dexes were so daunting because they want 800 or 700 or 600. But in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, they only needed 400 to complete the dex, which felt really good to do that. And then because I completed it, it made me want to go backwards of like, I do want to complete the dex now in X and Y or in Black and White too. So if it wasn't for those games and just like the right time, right place for me, I probably would have never gone backwards.
Oh, okay. Do you do like competitive Pokemon?
I don't.
Any of that?
No, yeah. I did when Generation 5 came out, when Unova first came out. I was very competitive. I traveled for it, went to VGCs and stuff, but it's very time consuming and it's not my favorite part of the game. I like collecting more than battling.
Do you have like a favorite type? of the Pokemon?
Water, probably.
Water?
Which is funny because I don't know how to swim. So.
But you can surf, right?
Yeah, you can surf.
If you have the ability, yeah. Yeah, I was always a fan of the psychic type. Well, at least in the first one, it was like super overpowered.
Very overpowered.
And what was it? Was it Kalazam? Like the
Alakazam.
Alakazam. Yeah, he was always my favorite one.
Yeah,
because he was super. He was like OP, like through the whole thing. Like the first. Like Pokemon Blue was the one I played the most, and I got like 120. I didn't get all of them, but
120 is pretty good.
That was the most that I ever got was in that game, and I actually got my friends to buy copies of it so we could like trade the starters and all that shit.
Yeah,
but sure. Have you guys talked about? I'm sure you've talked about the Switch release, right? Like the new one. What are your thoughts on that? I know there's been like leaks and stuff, supposed, or like there's supposed to be like a Pokemon Rumble or whatever.
So far, I think everything has been fake. So far, but yeah, it's like. I think we've gotten 3 or 4 batches of like, here are the starters, and they haven't been real. I'm excited for it, but I am in no rush for it. I mean, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon are only like 5 months old at this point, and it's a little frustrating that people are so ready for this because overall Sun and Moon is not that old. I mean, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon was November, Sun and Moon just a year before that. So I like Gen 7 a lot. I think it burned a lot of people out, so they want the new thing, but whether it comes out this year or next year or the year after, I'm in no rush. Like, I'm excited for it, but like I would rather them take their time.
Yeah, I think people are more excited just that it's a console Pokemon. I mean,
yes,
just the fact that they've been asking for that for 20 years now, and it's finally happening.
But you can also throw it in your bag, which will be super sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Because I take my Switch everywhere, and my DS kind of now sits on my desk because it's kind of burnt out for me.
It's just a shame that, like, because you have all those generations of Pokemon and 3DS, and you're kind of losing that, like, for it going to the Switch and all that. You know, there's, like, no Pokemon Bank or, like, any way for you to, you know, because they kind of made it to where you could bring all your guys in. You can even do it from, like, the original ones now, like, through Virtual Console.
Yeah, I would assume if they can add Virtual Console to a 20-year-old game, they'll be able to make Bank work with the Switch, hopefully. Like,
I would hope so. Yeah, it's just, like, it's crazy, like, just how much... because that was like such a big seller for the 3DS and all that. Or like the DS and the Game Boy even. I mean, the first one came out like when it was on its way out.
Yeah, the weird thing about the 3DS is like you can play every Pokemon game on it now. The Virtual Console games are there, so that's Kanto and Johto. Hoenn you can play with Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, and then Diamond Pearl, Unova, like those games still work. So it's weird because we're leaving all that behind now. So I would hope and really want Pokemon Bank to work because at least...
Do you guys
rebuild it?
Do you guys think that you don't think it'll come out this year though? The new one.
I thought in like an investors call they said they were aiming for this year, which was like not public, but obviously stockholders are free to talk about whatever they want. But I thought the aim was this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just curious because I mean, you guys follow it a lot better than we do. Yeah. So I was just wondering what the. What you guys would say.
Yeah, the only official thing was at E3 when they said, it's coming, with no date or anything. So some people are guessing E3, but Pokemon has always done their own thing. Like, it was weird that they were at E3 last year because they've never been at E3 before.
Yeah.
But obviously, like, if you're looking for a system seller for Switch, Pokemon is that.
Yeah.
But I would assume that we would get a Pokemon Direct either before or after E3. It's just weird to me that they would use E3's stage when they don't need it.
Sure.
Like, when they announce a new Pokemon game, the world knows they don't need...
Oh, yeah. No, you'll find out.
Yeah. They don't need E3's presence to promote that.
Other than to show up the other companies that are there, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. But also, like, I feel like Pokemon news can overshadow Nintendo news pretty easily. So, like...
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, I mean... Like, yeah, because they did it as part of that Direct last year where the guy was, like, in the office, and he's like, we're working on it, I swear. You know,
yeah, it seemed very out of place. It was like, why are you interviewing this dude in the office?
I think it was very much just saying, like, oh, no, it's coming, settle down, because everybody, like, kind of was a little upset about Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Right.
Reason, But it'll be weird to have a year without Pokemon, though, because it's been, like, kind of an annualized...
it has been.
Yeah.
And I honestly think it's probably for the best if they take a year off, just because... It does seem like people are burned out, but if it comes this year, awesome. Yeah. If it doesn't, that's cool too. Like I said, I'm in no rush.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be a little rush if it came out this year, but who knows? They might want to just kill that Christmas again. I mean, they had such an amazing year last year. Nintendo did for the Switch and all that. That I mean, what do you do aside from releasing Zelda and Mario? You got to bring out the other big guns.
Animal Crossing.
Heck yeah, I'm hoping. I mean,
maybe a good one this time.
There's supposedly some website thing about that too. Do you watch all the? I'm sure you watch all the cartoons and the movies and all that stuff.
I saw I Choose You in theaters, which is the 20th Pokemon movie.
Oh, okay. I saw Mewtwo Strikes Back in theaters. So
Okay.
I saw the very,
very
first
first
one. And, was that 99?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
99, 2000. No,
Yeah.
99 because Pokemon the movie 2000.
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
in 2000.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved I Choose You, which was like the reboot of the first couple episodes. And then the Sun and Moon anime is going on right now. They just started the season 2 of the Sun and Moon anime, which I think is just called Ultra Sun and Moon.
Oh, okay.
And it's been great. They went with a new art direction. It's really good. They still have the same voice actor for Ash, which they've had since I think Diamond and Pearl, because they switched from Veronica Taylor to a different voice actor, and I think she does a great job. But yeah, I like the original Pokemon anime is very Scooby-Doo. It's always like, this is the Pokemon of the week.
Yeah.
This is the Team Rocket issue. We solve the issue. We move on. So you can kind of pick and choose, but the Sun and Moon anime does have a little more development. Team Rocket's not in every single episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been great to go through that. I'm a little behind. I haven't started Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, but I've only heard good things about that series.
Have you seen? I heard there was a new movie where Pikachu talks now.
That was I Choose You. Yeah.
That was a whole thing.
If you want me to spoil it, technically it's a dream sequence.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ash is like dying, and so he envisions.
Yeah.
So it kind of a cop out, but yeah, Pikachu
On his
does.
way to the underworld, he sees Pikachu talking.
It wouldn't be a Pokemon movie if Ash didn't die.
Oh yeah. They got to cry and bring him back to life.
Well, correct. Yes.
Is there any sort of advice that you would have for anybody who's like not into Pokemon and like wants to get into it, like what game to start with, or like?
I think Pokemon Go is a good place to start. It's free.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It's on your phone. Everyone has a phone, I would assume.
Yeah.
And then if you're going to start with a game, I would say Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon are great. I would skip Sun and Moon completely.
Oh, okay.
Just because they added 100 more Pokemon to Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. They made the first tutorial island, I'm doing air quotes, they made the first tutorial island a little bit quicker. So instead of taking maybe like 3 or 4 hours to get through, it only takes 1 or 2.
Oh, okay.
And the post-game stuff, if you did play the original Pokemon games and maybe stepped away for 15 years, if you get to the end, Team Rocket comes back. From the original games with Giovanni and everything. I don't want to spoil it, but
well, I think I saw. I mean, I feel like they put that in there for like some of the previews.
Yes,
and all
they
that,
did.
but,
They did mention it, but it's about a 2-hour end game thing with Team Rocket and stuff, and it's really well done. I went in with the lowest expectations because most of the Pokemon end game stuff, it's like it's there for fans and it's fine, but it's nothing super great. But this is really good.
Oh, okay.
So I would if you're getting back in, I would start with Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Cool. Is there any sort of events or anything that's coming up with your podcast that you want to plug on here?
I just finished PAX.
Oh, yeah.
So other than that, probably PAX West, but I think the summer's pretty clear. I would assume they're going to announce another Pokemon Go Fest, probably, even though the first one was a disaster.
I heard about that.
But they said they wanted to do another one and learn from their mistakes, and I mean, I think even though that first one was a disaster, they refunded everyone's money. They gave everyone $100 in-game credit.
Wow.
They did try really hard to make up.
Did what they could to make everybody not pissed at them anymore, right?
Right. So I think, to get that sour taste, I think they have to try it again. And so whenever they announce that this summer, I'll be going to that.
Okay, cool. Thanks for talking to us. Where can we find you at? Do you have a Twitter? And I know it's a Pokemon podcast, but is that how you would look it up on iTunes or whatever?
Yeah, so Twitter, we have at Pokemon Podcast.
Okay.
Website, we have PokemonPodcast.com.
Cool.
So
Wow, you got those good domains.
Nice, yeah.
No one was...
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, no one was sitting on them 8 years ago. So otherwise, if you just go to iTunes and you type in the word Pokemon, you're going to get a bunch of shows, but ours should be near the top of the list. But the show is called It's Super Effective if you want to search for it directly.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so definitely check that out, and I'll check that out as well. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah,
thank you. Thanks a lot.
All right, cool. Here we are with, what's your name?
Nathan Tolbert.
And we're in the, you've made some homebrew games?
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. I've got some Nintendo games I've developed. I've got them all in one cartridge here to demo. But
Oh, okay. What all have you made?
so one of them is called Spacey McRacy. It's a 4-player party game. You got spaceships where you're racing against each other, trying to kill each other. One of those where you play it with a big group and everybody's laughing and punching each other.
I mean, that's already great in the name in itself, Spacey McRacy.
Oh yeah. I asked my friends. I was like, "What do we name this thing?" And Spacey McRacy was their clear answer.
And it stuck then?
Yeah,
They went
exactly,
with it?
Yeah.
Cool. So, yeah, and that's an NES cart, right?
Yes,
This-
an NES cart. And on the
okay.
same cart, I've got one called Robo Ninja Climb, where you're a robot ninja climbing through a pit, kind of dodging spikes, and it's kind of a quick action reflex game.
Oh, okay. And that's a single player then?
Yeah.
Okay. Do these normally come on the same cartridge, or are they just
So
on
I-
this for here?
So we actually originally released them as part of, we have a competition every year, a NES Dev competition, where people submit games, and then we kind of rate them in the community and say, who was the best. So I made these for the past 2 years. So this is
Okay.
the first time I put them on a cartridge.
Oh, all right.
So I
So
just
you-
put them together, and
So you competed in the contest with them?
Yeah.
They were your...
they were my entries for
Submissions, yeah.
previous year and this year.
okay. And what was it? NES? What was it called? NES?
NES Dev competition.
NES
NES
Dev
Dev. Is
Yeah.
that NES? Like,
Yeah.
Dev like that? Okay.
Yeah, NES
cool.
Dev. Yeah.
Cool. Have you been... how many years have you been doing that?
Just the 2 years. I've started doing homebrews for other systems. I'd done a game for Game Boy Advance, a game
Oh, wow.
for the Atari 2600, and then I said, okay, now it's time to try to do something for Nintendo. So
What was your game for Game Boy Advance?
it was called Nguna. It was a Zelda-type game.
Oh, okay. Cool. Were you here last year? At
I
the
was not.
Midwest Gaming
Nope.
Classic?
This is my first time.
Okay. Yeah, because I've talked to some of the people, and I wasn't sure if I'd talked to you before or not. Did you get a Kickstarter for that game? Or how
I
did you,
didn't. The Game Boy Advance one I did, that was back in 2006, and so I just, back then you could get flash cartridges, so I did them all myself.
Oh, okay.
oh, wow. Do
You
you
self-release that way.
how do you have like a how does it go? How do you go about making something like that? Do you have like a development kit for Game Boy Advance, or do you just do it?
So, I mean, with all these things, they have compilers for them available. And so basically it's, download the compiler, figure out how the system works, build some tooling to convert, standard modern graphics image formats into the format that the system expects, which usually there's people out there that have made packages that do that.
Okay.
And so then just building it up from, on the Game Boy Advance it was C. On the Atari and the Nintendo it's mostly assembly language, but...
And then are you able to get blank cartridges then to like put the little chip on there?
Yeah, it's
or
been
what,
different for the different systems. On Game Boy Advance, I was doing it myself for a while with flashable cartridges.
Mm-hmm.
Atari, there's a guy, Al from Atari Age, that he does a lot of the homebrews, and so you send him your ROM, and he builds cartridges
okay.
out of it and sells them for you.
Nice.
So I'm just
I think
getting
I've
started
heard
with
of
NES
Atari
Homebrew.
Age. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, he does pretty much for Atari Homebrew. That is the place to go, is Atari
wow.
Age.
Nice. Do you sell like any of these that you make? Like, can you order them online? Or?
So the Atari game you can. The Game Boy Advance one, we're right in between. We sold out of all the ones we had, and I'm getting ready to try to make some more soon, hopefully in July.
Oh, okay.
So the NES ones I have are really only available right here, right now.
Okay. But you can't buy them from on the show floor, right?
No, yeah.
Oh, okay. Will they be available to purchase in the future? Or are you
I'm hoping
working
to.
on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna for the NES ones. I'll put them on my website, I think, and
Okay, cool.
people can try to buy them. But it's fairly limited run right now. I'm working right now on a bigger project, kind of a big Metroid type,
Oh, okay.
giant world thing. But that's going to be another year or two. So when
Is
I do
that
that,
also
I'll
on the
probably
NES?
yeah, I'll do a big Kickstarter for that probably
Okay.
if I ever get it finished. But,
Can you talk about that one at all?
yeah,
The one that's in the
so that was for years. I wanted to do kind of a mashup of Blaster Master and Metroid, kind of combine them together.
Oh, okay.
I've had this dream forever, so I just finally sat down and said, okay, it's time to do it. I got hooked up with a graphics artist, a girl named Franken Graphics from out of Sweden, so she's helping with the art. So I've been working on it for about a year. It's kind of probably a 3-year project. So right now all I've got is kind of the world you can run around in, you can jump, you can move around and look at the screens, but there's no enemies. The bulk of it's not there yet.
Is it like a 2-part type thing like Blaster Master where there's like a vehicular stuff and then side-scrolling?
So it's not going to have
whatever,
it's not going to have the top down like Blaster Master, but it will have you get out of your vehicle and you're a little vulnerable person, and you have to kind of do some of the parts out of your vehicle,
Okay.
feeling vulnerable, and then get back in and go blow up stuff.
But it's not like the separate. It's not going to be like the different viewpoint. And all that
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah. Developing 2 engines for the top down and the side scrolling. That's too much work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. It could be over
Will there
ambitious.
be
with it.
like power-ups and stuff, or is it going to be...
Yeah, it's going to be kind of like with Metroid games or Blaster
Okay,
Master,
cool.
where you finish an area and you get some new power up that lets you
leave the area?
right leave the area and go somewhere new. So.
Cool.
And kind of an auto mapping type thing. You push start, and it'll show you where you've been, so you can kind of.
Maps are important.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
maps are yes.
The old games didn't have those, but you
No.
play them now, and you're like, where am I supposed to go?
Where's
so
the dang map?
Yeah, so now I wanted to really focus on making sure there's that auto mapping. So when you get lost, you can at least say, "Well, I haven't been over there."
Yeah, that always helps for, especially like a Metroid 1 and 2, like with the no maps. It's always
it's just
difficult.
brutal.
You kind of have to. I mean, I think I played the first Metroid enough that I sort of know where to go.
I memorized it after looking at Nintendo Power long enough, but yeah.
Is that? Did you play a lot of Metroid when you were younger? Is that what inspired you to?
I
do this?
I liked Metroid, but it wasn't until Super Metroid that I really kind of got obsessed with it. Like that one was just absolutely amazing. I mean, I think that was almost near perfect execution of that style of game.
That's still an amazing game. Like,
Right.
It stood the test of time. Like,
So I'm
very,
trying
very
to
well.
pull in some of the ideas from that, some of the game design. I don't know if I'll nail it or not because it's hard to do anything nearly that good. But
I'd love to play it though. I mean, it sounds
well, I got
cool.
it over there that you can at least play what I've got so far, but it's missing a lot.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
Oh, it's on that cartridge.
yeah, it's on the cartridge. So
Oh, cool.
Cool. We'll
Is
check
it
it
like the first couple power ups, or like about how
right,
far are you going to get into it?
right now, it's just you can walk around a world and kind of see what scrolling around looks like. But there's no enemies.
Oh, yeah,
there's
there's
no
no
power-ups
enemies.
yet.
So
And you have to actually do the level design and stuff still.
Yeah, I've got like 5 rooms in there just so you can kind of see how it works. It's really kind of a tech demo of I've got the scrolling working, I've got sprite animation working, I've got some destroyable blocks working. That's about all we've got after a year's worth of work. So
Wow.
It takes a long time. I mean, and it's pretty much just you programming it, right?
Yeah, I'm doing all the programming and then she's doing the art and
Oh, okay.
probably the music.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I was
She does
wondering
music
who
also?
did
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's nice for sure.
Yeah.
It's multi-talent.
And you said you're going to do a Kickstarter for that. as
I'm
well.
hoping
Yeah.
to. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a few years out, so I don't want to make any promises, but that's my tentative plan, but we'll see.
Did you always want to make games, or is this just something
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
happened
I've-
as a passion project? or?
When I was a kid playing Atari and Nintendo, it was like I would love to do this. My parents got me a computer, and I devour the books about basic programming and make cheesy little
Yeah.
dumb games that didn't really work very well.
Oh, okay. So you've been doing it for a while.
So I've been doing it ever since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I went into computer science, and I write software for a university now, not video game related stuff. But
oh, sure, yeah. But I mean, on the side, you can
yeah,
still make
so I've always
all
wanted
that
to do games. So now I feel like I finally had the level of experience to go back and make these games I always dreamed of making for the systems I had when I was young.
stuff. Was there a particular reason that you wanted to go back to like NES or Atari or whatever? Or was it just simplicity? Or?
It's a few things. Part of it's nostalgia, because I always wanted to make a Nintendo game. Now I can make a Nintendo game. Part of it is, I'm writing software at work. Going back to this incredibly limited platform is super fun. Like on the Atari, you have 128 bytes of memory to work with. And so having to think at that level is just so different from regular programming that it's super fun. And the other part is the community. I made an Android game a few years ago, and it was fun to make, but there's no sense of, people played it, it got a few thousand downloads, and I didn't talk to anybody hardly.
Oh,
You just didn't really get any feedback.
Yeah, you throw it out and, you get a few ratings or something on the Google Play Store, but here there's a community where you make a game, people are interested in it, they want to talk to you about it. Shows like this, people are like, oh, this is really neat. And so there's just, because of the community, it's more fun because you get more people to talk to about it, more people that are interested in playing it.
Yeah, especially this being like a retro expo. Like a lot of people are looking for older games that they had whenever, but they love seeing the new ones.
Exactly.
And the old
So
systems
to me,
too,
that's
so.
the combination of all three of those really makes it more fun to do than modern games.
Do you have a lot of people ask you to purchase the game, or just?
I haven't had
a
few, but not a lot yet.
Okay.
So, but I wasn't really advertising it as I didn't come in thinking I'm going to sell a ton of them. It was just I'd like to show it off and let people play it. And
Oh, okay. So that's how you got through the MGC. You were just like, I got some stuff I want to show.
yeah, cause the Nintendo Age room here, they said you're going to have a room here dedicated for people from Nintendo Age, just showing off homebrew, showing off the stuff that we've got, and so
cool.
Yeah,
All right.
most of this stuff around here is all new games. So
Yeah, no, I always love looking at this, so I wanted to make sure and try to get some interviews with people here. So and it's what was the race game again?
Spacey McRacy.
Spacey McRacy. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And we can find you at. Do you have a?
It's
Twitter?
bitethechili.com, or on Twitter I'm just Nathan Talbert, NathanTolbert.
All right, cool, Nathan
Yeah.
Talbert. And you have cards, right? So I can make
Yeah.
sure you get them.
Yep.
Okay. All right, cool. Thanks for talking to
Yeah,
us.
hey,
thanks
thank
so
you
much,
guys.
Nathan.
Appreciate you guys talking to me.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Cool. Kevin Fair of I Play Games, a friend of the show.
Yeah.
And he's got a nice little setup in here for Midwest Gaming.
Hey, what's up, guys? Pretty good. Yep. Got a nice little variety of setups of games. So yeah.
Now, so this is all your equipment and all your consoles?
Yep. Everything except for these sets behind you running Modern Warfare 2. I want to say that Midwest Gaming Classic brings that one themselves. It's been a little bit of a favorite for them. So yeah.
Cool.
So do you have what do you have set up for the day? Are you doing like tournaments and stuff?
So we did Smash Brothers 4 at about noon or so, and we knew people were going to be here for that already. And then surprisingly enough, man, I knew the whole world is still playing Dragon Ball Z. So Dragon Ball Z Dragon Ball Fighter Z, we had a tournament for that earlier too. Cool. So yeah, both of those went really good, man. Things are like really chill here. People are kind of easy going, and then they kind of come enjoy the tournament, and then they explore some more of the convention.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's been a good turnout in here. Right?
Oh, it's been crazy all day.
It seems like it. It's
I think
crazier.
The weather kind of slowed people down
the
at
weather
first.
sucks.
So, we got started at about 10 a.m., and you were kind of looking around, but then it was like ice snowing, and then when that kind of held up like towards noon or so, then it was just a wave of everybody.
Yeah, it was. I was wondering how the convention was going to be, because it's like in a different spot now. I thought it'd be super packed, but it's actually not that bad. Like it's kind of more spread out, like a little more.
Yeah,
there's a little more space to move around, actually.
No, you know what I think is like really kind of cool about this is that, like, for people that are coming up from Chicago, I know the easiest way is like Megabus or Greyhound. Tickets are like $10. The travel is like an hour 45 minutes, man. So like I'm finding like a ton of my friends from home coming up because this is really accessible. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude, we're staying at one of the hotels, but yeah, I guess you could like just bus and yeah, I mean everything's kind of walking distance, like within Milwaukee and all that.
I still got some people that are actually coming through later on this evening, so I'm pretty excited.
Did you do anything yesterday for like the special Friday?
So we opened up
VIG
with them Friday with the VIG kind of thing, the very important gamer ticket that they had, and actually we had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe out for people to play.
Cool.
We wanted to organize a tournament, but it seemed like people were a little more interested in trying to just scope everything out and not necessarily be in a tournament. So, yeah.
Cool. Are you planning on doing a Mario Kart tournament in the future? Yeah.
So I always want to do more Mario Kart. As you guys know, I did it as a part of the Winter Olympics for Emporium, and that was hugely successful. And I'm thinking about doing it again. I'm trying to gauge some of the interest for it. So Mario Kart is one of my favorite things that I bring to every room to play. So it's really easy for me to say, yes, we're going to have Mario Kart because I'm playing it. And now with it being on the Switch, it's easy to have it wherever. So, yeah.
Are you the only one here that has Mario Kart going? Because I remember like last year they had like a couple Smash Brother things set up, but are you like the primary Mario Kart or Smash Brothers or whatever? Are there other stuff
we're
too?
Doing it in tandem with them having their qualifiers for a kind of like a end of tournament tomorrow. So yeah, we're doing it in tandem with them. So yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So so your tournament's separate from that tournament, or it's the same?
Yeah. So they're going to have tomorrow like this finals and whatnot as the convention kind of closes, and I think it's going to be a part of like their ending ceremonies and whatnot. So they've got a lot of really cool ideas here. I've really enjoyed seeing more of the gaming museum. I've always kind of got to see bits and pieces, but coming and seeing it personally and whole is also really cool. So,
were you able to like put anything in the gaming museum, like any of the older systems?
You know what?
That you
this year I was going to say I don't think I put anything in the museum this year. So no. But I mean, between some of the rail shooters up there that I found, I was pretty pleasantly surprised to see a ton of the PS2 rail shooters with the actual orange gun cons. And so I'm always really excited at those. You see tons of NES zappers. Every so often you see the Super Nintendo's zapper,
Super Scope 6.
But the Super Scope really fails in a comparison to me as far as like home shooters to everything on PlayStation 2. I mean, those games are really, the time crises are really well done for home and whatnot. So yeah, really excited to see those upstairs in the museum.
Lethal Enforcers.
Yep.
What was it? That one like Hard Target or whatever. There's another. I forget what it was called. It was a Wii one that they re-released. It's not very good.
I can't remember.
Yeah, something like that. But it's always interesting. Like I remember last year, we haven't been to the museum yet, but there was like a big line of shooters of like gun games. Like
they
right
built
next to
like
each other.
a little U-shaped box this time, man. So you guys get up there and check that one out. It's actually pretty cool, and it's kind of open. A nice little open space.
I'm sure you've thought about because I know you have a lot of tube TVs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Have you thought about putting stuff in the museum, or you just haven't asked anybody yet? Or?
I haven't really gotten to them. What was really cool was getting to meet Dan this year, one of the organizers, man, and I really have to tip my hat off to him. I think that he's found himself in a space where he's always looking to try to do something new and unique, and I think this year, as they kind of brought us on, they wanted this space to be a variety space for a lot of people to kind of play some current things, kind of have some fun, joke around with me in tournaments like I normally kind of do. And so, I think that they are definitely interested in a lot of different ideas. And I don't think we got to talk about that this year. But, no, I mean, I have a few things that I think would be great for it because I'm building something new that I haven't talked about a lot yet with people. But I think you guys are really going to like it. So it'll be cool for the museum.
Oh, okay. You probably don't want to give any details on that yet,
It's
right?
like a 6 foot. Imagine, I'm just going to say it's like a 6 foot controller.
Oh, wow.
I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
then I'll let you guys see the rest when I'm done with it.
So you do a co-op thing where one person does.
So one person does
stick
one thing,
and one of the buttons or whatever.
Maybe I don't.
Oh, well,
That's in the cards.
I remember one year I saw a giant Game Boy that somebody made. With the giant
and having it fit in almost
I don't know
looking
if
like the store model. I didn't see that one upstairs.
Yeah, I don't know if they have it here or not, but I think it was the first year they had it where it's like a giant one and it still has a little tiny game in the back.
Yep.
And it's just big. And you hit the buttons and all that. So everything's mostly newer that you have here, right?
I think that the concept here was to try to bring in some families and of course get kids interested in some of the type of gaming that I had. So obviously Smash Brothers is always a hit. I don't leave home without Mario Kart, and then Injustice has been incredibly popular as of late. A lot of people see the Ninja Turtles on there and have been kind of jumping on. And then Dragon Ball is a no-brainer too. So yeah.
Yeah, I saw some people playing that. Especially, I'm sure you got all the updates and the Ninja Turtle guys and all the extra characters and all that. So it's always good to just have stuff out to play, depending on where.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, and you know what else is really kind of cool? For some of the people at home, if they can imagine, this convention is happening on 2 different floors. So the top floor, which is the exhibitor showroom floor kind of thing. Downstairs, we've kind of got some more focused kind of stuff, and I think it's kind of cool because this space is a little bit more chill. People got have some place to sit down and kind of hang out. So,
yeah, it's nice to have an area to chill, especially when you're walking around and all that.
Plus, we're next door to some really cool stuff too, man.
Yeah, have you been over there to the Nintendo
So
Age?
I've been trying to figure out how to play the beanbags game, the tailgating beanbags game.
Oh yeah, with the power pad.
Yeah, no, I've got a couple power pads, not doing anything at home, so I'm trying to find something that I can do them with. So yeah,
looks like people are really enjoying that game.
Yeah,
too.
Somebody was doing up a storm
over
there,
distracting. They're trying to distract the other players.
Yeah.
Have you had much time to walk around and look at the exhibits?
So I've got to see a few things, man. So the one thing I did get to go see was Pinball FX upstairs.
Okay.
They've got those virtual pinball machines, which are actually pretty kind of cool. I was kind of skeptical on the feedback for the buttons and stuff, but that was pretty cool. Something I got to see. Also upstairs is my good friends from Mutant Football League. And I adore the heck out of that game as a big fan of NFL Blitz and other arcade sports games.
Yeah, Genesis
That's
game,
a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a Genesis game, and they've actually rebooted it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, they rebooted it. It's out on PlayStation 4. It's out on Xbox One, of course. So it's perfect for that. So I love it.
Yeah. Is there do you have any Holy Grail game that you're looking for in the vendor area? Is there an older there's always one thing that you're looking for that if it's not $100 or that
you know what's
thing.
funny is I am a big fan of peripherals. So I'm always in a hunt for a peripheral, something that I don't have already. And sometimes that's a little hard for me to come across. Because then the other thing is I don't collect for the sake of collecting. I collect things that I actually want.
Sure.
So I passed by a few booths upstairs and I saw a Nintendo's Rob. And I was kind of thinking about I was thinking about making a purchase on that because right now I have almost every NES accessory. And so I am short Rob and one other thing that's complete in the box and everything. So
do you have the four
I've
player
got the satellite. I've got a
that?
satellite. I've got a satellite that's still in the box. Funny enough, my Christmas gift for 1993 or something like that, my parents bought me the NES Sports Pack.
Oh, okay.
So as the NES was being retired, they were getting rid of sports packs.
Yeah.
So I had an NES Saturn, and that connects by infrared technology. So, yeah, I've got that. I've got a Power Glove. I've got dog bone controllers. I got a ton of NES stuff.
So you probably have like the top
Those dog
loader
bone
too,
controllers
right?
are great.
And they are very hard to come by.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Yep.
I always wanted one of those top loader ones. Well, that
Now,
came with the
that's
dog
one
bones.
thing that I do not have. I do not have a top loader, which would be really nice, but those are also going for a lot of money now, too. So
Yeah, I remember those like coming out on when I saw them at Toys R Us, and I was like, I don't know, I didn't really think much of it, but I kind of wish I would have got one like way back when, when I was a kid. But I was a kid, I didn't have that much money. I would love to see. I'd love to see you do some stuff, some multiplayer stuff with that, like with the 4-player adapter, NES stuff, like set that up in the future. That'd be really cool.
Because there's a couple of games that do a really good job of taking
like
advantage
Super Dodgeball
of it.
or
Yeah,
like
Super
stuff like
Dodgeball does. Yep. A lot of Technos Japan games actually have some type of functionality for it. So.
Yeah, I would love to see that, like next year or something. Like to see like some retro stuff as well.
I have to think about that, but you got to point me in the direction of I think it's 6 C or D batteries. That thing runs on C or D batteries. And here's what's funny. You can't go to some stores now and find C or D batteries consistently.
I haven't bought one in years.
No one
have to
uses
order
those anymore.
No one uses them for anything. Like, you've got so many rechargeable batteries. But, that thing gets incredibly heavy with, like, I think it's C batteries. You have to have 6 C batteries inside of it. And you can only order them from Amazon. I noticed the other day. I was like, so I need to get on Amazon, and you have to order them in bulk. You can't order, like, 10 at a time.
Can you get rechargeable C batteries?
That might be close, but that might even be more hard to find. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I wonder, like, if they'll probably eventually stop making them altogether, and then the batteries are going to lose their charge over time. Someday we might not be able to use stuff that uses C batteries.
They better use some things just because of C batteries.
I mean, you'd be
crazy to think about.
You'd be surprised. Like they tried to retire like the reel-to-reel recording, quarter-inch tape stuff, and some rich guy like started it again. He's like, no, we still need that.
Nope.
So they weren't able to.
Same with the tubes for like amps and stuff, like old school tubes.
Oh, of course.
They tried to stop making that, and then someone else started making them, I think.
Or like film and stuff like that. It's the same sort of. There'll always be somebody who wants it.
Very true.
Have there been any panels that you've been interested in that you're checking out today? Or
what's that?
Have you been going to see any of the panels or any of the guys
So
that are
I've
talking?
only been able to peek in on the Galloping Ghost panels that are like next door. And here's what's funny. Like, can you imagine seeing like Jax from Mortal Kombat walking back and forth? So whenever I see him walking back and forth, I know, okay, cool. Let me try to peek my head in on that. But I might try to tomorrow to sit down to some more panels. So
yeah, I saw them in there. It was like Johnny Cage and Liu Kang and Jax and all that. Yeah. Did you see like their new game that they're making over there? Like
no, they're making a new game.
No, the Galloping Ghost guys, I guess, are making like a Mortal Kombat inspired game with those actors.
Really?
Yeah, where they actually it looks pretty wild because it's like it's like an HD version, so everything kind of looks like a weird like 90s PC,
but it's still like mocap.
Yeah, but it's not mocap. It's like totally. Well, I mean, it's like actors. They have actors fighting each other and all that. It's interesting. If you have time, you should check
I'll
it out.
I'll have to take a look at that. I'll have to ask Doc.
It's interesting.
I passed by Doc and everything from Galloping Ghost. I should just give him a call real quick.
So we were at C2E2 last weekend, and we saw you there. Like, how did that go? I mean, just to.
I had a blast, man. Honestly, everything was clockwork. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It was like clockwork because we were hosting something like 4 tournaments a day, and you have a ton of people that are just interested in it in general. Then we were using the same space to host tournaments and casual gameplay. So, of course, it was more a matter of, like, people who want to play casually are like, hey, can we sit down and play? And it was like, we're running a tournament. But I have to say, overall, I was really pleased with C2E2. I like the space that we were in this year. I really enjoyed my experience, as I normally do with the streaming services and whatnot. So we hosted DBZF Live and stuff. So that was really cool, man. I think we had a really good turnout and showing at C2E2 this year.
Yeah, I saw we stopped through and saw you really quick.
Yeah,
but I saw a picture of you, and was that the guy from NBA Jam, the
announcer?
Yeah, what's
Tim
up with that?
Kinsrow, man, that was like my celebrity moment.
That's wild.
Because I don't get to see stuff around the conventions a lot of times. A lot of times I'm just kind of like, here's my bubble video game, and everything else is going on around me. And honestly, Tim coming was perfect because we were also hosting a Mutant Football League setup. And he, of course, gave his voice, his gifts to that game. Nice. And, I mentioned in the post, I've been imitating this guy when I host video game tournaments and events, since second grade. Every time you take a shot, you start talking about he's on fire.
Yeah. He's on fire.
You might be 1 of 12, but the one that you hit, he's on fire.
Yeah. Nice.
So it was pretty cool, man. Tim Kitzrow was there. Mike Minham was there. The creator of Mutant Football League, the rebooted. So,
oh wow, yeah.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, man, I didn't see that guy.
Oh man, and there's so much to catch. There's so much to catch there. So
cool. Do you have any other? I think I asked. Do you have any tournaments coming up later today?
So actually, tomorrow we're going to be hosting Injustice 2. Today we're going to try to shut down, man, and I think I might try to go by one of the arcade bars, man. My drinking tour around America.
Oh, you should.
I try to make it. Which one are you thinking of?
Oh, we're going to the Retronauts one, the 1923 one.
19 what?
Or no, not 20. 1983.
So, I'm going to 1983
1923 would be funny.
1923. I would love to see the arcade games from 1923, right.
Well, they just be the old, where you, shoot the little metal ducks and stuff.
Playing poker, throwing knives at
the ones that shoot, the little guns that shoot the metal walls. BB guns.
Cool. Well, hopefully we'll see you there.
Perfect. That'll be pretty cool.
Is there anything else you want to, do you want to plug anything that's coming up after this?
No, so actually, man, I want to give a shout-out to all of the guys at JamCom that invited us to come. We'll be in JamCom in Murfreesboro, Tennessee next weekend, man.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy, man. I haven't been down to Tennessee since I graduated from undergrad. So it's going to be a lot of fun going down there. Murfreesboro, funny fact, Murfreesboro, Tennessee is where I bought my launch day Nintendo Wii.
Oh, wow.
I was in line in Murfreesboro. I just was visiting, and I happened to buy one there. So,
was it around the launch time where you had to?
It was on launch day.
Oh wow!
I was there to visit, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna go check Walmart to see if they have any. I got in line. I was number 30 of 30, and I got my Nintendo Wii 17 hours later.
So that was your graduation gift to yourself?
That was my gift to myself for being such a good boy that year. Getting good grades and everything.
It's a great gift to give yourself.
And so forever, Murfreesboro is in my heart as to where I bought my first Nintendo.
How you get the Wii,
you never would have known
Yeah.
you'd be going back there, someday as a
who knew?
as a special guest.
Yep, as a guest for something.
Are you going to bring the Wii that you bought there with you?
That's interesting because guess what? I have repurposed it, and you guys aren't going to guess what I've skinned it as. It's a Patti LaBelle's top 10 songs. So everybody always goes, "Why is Patti LaBelle?" I was like, because she's a great singer. And so my very first Wii still boots up, still works. I kind of stopped using the disc tray after a while because I know the disc trays on those things kind of go. So, I've kind of protected mine over time, man.
You should bring it out, just put it in a case, just so people can see
and
it.
show
And be
it
like,
to
hey,
everybody.
This is the one I got here, and it always makes me think
carry
of
it
this.
around in a messenger bag.
Cool. Are you setting up a similar thing like this then?
So, I'm actually going to have a setup there, man, and we're going to be running all of their video game tournaments at JamCon next weekend. So,
Nice.
Pretty excited.
Cool. Any more Chicago stuff after that?
Yeah, so the Nintendo Labo is coming out, and I'm going to have an announcement for that this coming Monday or Tuesday or so.
Oh, you're doing a Labo thing?
So I'm going to do a Labo thing, and I'm probably going to use my one setup to fold everything for the very first time and kind of see how that goes.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited to see where this, the Labo thing kind of falls. Sometimes kids love it. Sometimes they don't.
Right.
Sometimes adults are like, "Oh, that was cool."
I guess
for
it'll
one
be the
try.
kids that decide
For
if
one
that's
try.
going to be successful.
A lot of times, yeah.
I'm really, really interested to see what it does because, from what I heard, the remote control car that you can build, it has, that IR sensor on the back.
Yeah.
So it can kind of, tell you where it's at, on the screen.
On the screen, yep.
That's amazing. I just want to mess around with that.
I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Well, and then it can, it uses the camera to, you can actually see.
That's what I'm saying. It shows you, it's kind of like those remote control cars with the cameras on it, but it's just the IR sensor. But it can do, heat signatures and stuff. So you can kind of see where you're going, through the...
Oh, that's wild.
Through the switch screen, using the touch screen.
This thing that's been out for, well over a year, 14 months now. 15 months almost.
Yeah.
And we're just now seeing, oh, hey, the controller can do that. I didn't know that.
Can do more stuff. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's kind of how Nintendo always does it. There's always, little things, and, the 64, had all those different notches and stuff on the bottom that you can plug into that they never really fully used.
They kind of fell through, some of those things, but,
Well, I think the Wii U even had, an extra notch on it or whatever that never got added to it. But, you never know. There's always, we could put something here or put something whatever,
Very true.
Yeah, I'm super excited about Labo. It's,
I guess
it's
that falls
just
your love
around
of
the corner.
peripherals. They're kind of peripherals, right?
Exactly. So that falls right in line. Plus, there's a thing about peripherals when I think about things as a consumer, and I think about things as a professional. Those types of things get people's attention really quickly. Now, granted, they could be good or bad, but they do a really good job at getting people to say, what is that?
Yeah. Would you think about doing like an event thing with Labo, like car races or something?
So I was going to say,
I don't know, yeah.
And that's really kind of like how I try to use a lot of these things is to see A, where people's interests are, B, how much can this grow? Because guess what? If you can make car races out of them, I'm totally going to build a track
or
and
do
a space.
do bowling or something would be kind of fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm always inspired by the possibilities.
Yeah, I'm really, really interested to see where that go, and I'd love to see what you're doing with it. Definitely, if there's something in Chicago, I'd love to come by and check it out.
Of course.
Awesome. Well, thanks for spending time with us.
And as always, come on, guys.
It's nice. Always nice to see you guys especially at the Midwest Gaming Expo.
Yeah, now we're seeing each other back-to-back weekends, man.
Yeah.
We didn't even know each other a few months ago.
Yeah.
Now we see each other all the time.
I like it. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Sweet. Okay.
Cool. All right.
It's nice to meet you finally, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, I was gonna say face to face.
All right. And that's Kevin from I Play Games again. You have what is it, at KFair? Is that your Twitter?
Yeah, at KFair_IPG is my Twitter. And then check out our website, IPGNation.com, for all of our upcoming conventions and events.
Okay, cool.
Sounds good.
So we're here with what's your name?
Zach from Retrotainment Games.
Oh, okay. And you made Haunted Halloween '86.
Yeah, we made Haunted Halloween '86 and Haunted Halloween '85.
Okay, yeah, I know there were a couple of them. I think I played a little bit of it last year. But what's the premise of the game again?
So the premise of '85 was you play as Donnie Johnstown. It's Halloween morning, 1985. Wakes up a little late for school. Gets there, realizes all the adults are gone, all the kids are turned into zombies, and you just gotta punch your way home on Halloween. So '86 is 1 year later, and you're back with your friend Tammy. You guys are going trick-or-treating, and you get dared to go up to the old farmhouse, and chaos ensues again. The town starts getting haunted, and you gotta make your way home again. And this game's really, really more about exploring the town, finding what made it so haunted in the first place, and really, kind of what it feels like inheriting a town as a kid.
Is that does it kind of play like a Retro City Rampage, or is it kind of like a brawler-ish, or what is the?
This is a little more of a brawler. The first game was more of a platforming style beat 'em up.
Okay.
It's a little simple, just had a single combo that you went through. This we wanted to make it feel a little more like a brawler, kind of a Street Fighter Final Fight kind of controls. There's combos that you learn by defeating bosses, and it's like a non-linear progression. So even though the game is linear, every time you defeat a boss, you get to choose whichever power-up you want.
Oh, okay. So it's like if you went through it a couple different times, you would get a different
power
up
you
each
can
time.
get slightly different playthroughs. Yeah, and we made all the moves comboable into each other, and some of them act a little more as utility moves. So there's like a dodge move that you can. It's more of a defensive move, but at the same time, if you don't have the double jump, you can actually combo that into a jump to actually launch yourself across the screen.
Oh, okay.
And do things in different ways to do the same stuff.
So there's different ways to if you don't have a certain thing at the right time, you can still get to a secret or
yeah,
whatever.
Sometimes. It depends on how familiar you are with some of the moves. Certainly not every move. You can even get a little more height with an uppercut while you're in the air. But it's there's kind of a progression we always lean through. Whenever I play the game, I always grab the same moves in the same way, and I feel kind of comfortable going through.
Oh, sure. Is there a particular best way to do it that you set up in there while you're designing it, or I'm sure there's moves that you like to do, or is there one way that makes it harder or easier?
I don't know if it makes it harder. There's the way the enemies kind of progress through the game. They get harder as you go through, and some of the early early level enemies are a little lower. So sometimes I think it's good to get like the dash moves and the dodge moves like, really early on. But it all depends on how you want to play.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. And it's a single player or is it a multiplayer?
It's a tag team style 2-player.
Oh, okay.
So in the game, when you're a single player, you can press select at any time to switch between 2 characters. And if you have a second controller hooked up, if the second player presses select, it switches the characters and the second controller gets to control that character.
Oh, okay.
We got a lot of requests for a 2-player after we made the first game. But because of the NES limitations with the amount of sprites on screen, our characters are pretty detailed, and we actually have multiple sprites on top of each other. So we wanted to keep the integrity of the action of the game, so we kept it as a single player on screen at a time, so we can still have that same level of action.
That's cool, though, that you can just tag team from one person to another. You never really hear of anything like that. I mean, they kind of did it in Mario with the different levels, but I like that. I like that idea.
We liked how, in some games you can switch between characters, even the old Ninja Turtles game.
Yeah.
But you still have to pause the game and go through. This way, you can press select at any time, even in the middle of a combo or when you're jumping in the air, and switch characters whenever you want. And we wanted the game to feel really modern and easy to jump into.
Sure.
So whether you played old NES games or you're more used to newer platforming games, we want it to be really easy, come in.
How is designing for the NES, trying to make a modern game on an old system?
It's definitely a little bit of a challenge. Our programmer, Damien, he just kind of gets it. He just 6502 assembly is his favorite coding language, basically, and we've seen a couple people use other languages and compile them down to assembly, and they just feel a little too loose. And working in the original coding language to build our own engine in, really let us be really tight and kind of craft the experience that we wanted to have.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. I mean, I see it. They're playing it behind you, and I know I played it a little bit. Is that a Famicom version that I'm seeing under there?
Yeah, we have
the small one.
Yeah, we have a Famicom version as well.
Nice.
It's a complete Japanese localization and translation.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
So we had some help from some people.
That's cool.
Do that for us. So
yeah, badass. And the gray one, is that the first one, or is that just a different version?
We always like having our colored. 85 is the zombie green. 86 is the pumpkin orange.
Oh, okay.
But there are still some collectors out there that like just having the classic gray for everything.
Yeah.
So we try to leave that option open, and sometimes when we're at conventions we'll only bring the colored stuff because people always want that anyways.
Yeah,
sure.
But these kind of things like Midwest Gaming Classic and the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, you get real collectors out there that are just definitely absolutely just want the
some
gray.
people want to include homebrews in there. I don't even. Well, this would
their
be homebrew,
collections.
in their total collection.
Yeah,
for sure.
So,
I do a lot. I'm sure a lot of people want to buy a sealed copy that you can sign and all that, right? Or do you guys do that? You probably don't have boxed ones, or do you?
Yeah, we have complete in box. We actually did a full color manual, a slipcase, and if you open any of our box, it has a little piece of styrofoam at the bottom, just like the original NES
that's
games.
Awesome. Cool.
So it fits in exactly how it's supposed to. We wanted to do the exact, the same process that you would have had opening up a box of an NES game back in the day.
Did you guys get Kickstarter for the first one, or how did you guys raise
the first one?
money
We self-funded. We thought about kickstarting, but it was we're 4 or 5 guys that have never done anything, so we couldn't really expect anyone to pay us for that up front.
Sure.
So we really worked hard. It took about 13 months from start to finish on the first game. About half of that was just learning the hardware, and then about 6 or 7 months of really hard coding and just really building the game. And then so for the second one, we were able to use that first game as our proof of concept and say look, we all have jobs. We all just we reached deadlines. We made sure this game came out and help us kind of do the same thing. So Kickstarter is really good for getting money, but it's also got kind of a reputation for people getting burned every once in a while. So so we worked. We spent about 7 months on the second game just because we wanted to make sure we got this game out. We missed our deadline by I think about 2 weeks. Still a little more than we thought it was going to be because we really rebuilt a lot of the pieces of our engine, really pushed it as far as we could go. But we were really happy with how that went. And now we're finishing up we're working on our third game right now that we also kickstarted. And
I was going to ask if there's an 87 in the works.
We're taking a break from the Haunted series right now.
Oh, okay.
So right now we're working on a game called Full Quiet. It's an open world action adventure kind of mystery game.
Oh, okay.
It's a very different style game.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, and you can check that out on any of our social media online or our Twitter or anything like that.
Okay.
is it kind of like an adventure type game, or what do you mean by
yeah,
by mystery?
It's still kind of side-scrolling. There's a definitely kind of a mystery you're trying to unravel in this. It takes some more cues from survival horror in some aspects, where there's less encounters but more impactful encounters.
Okay.
And it's a really totally different game. It's like I said, it's open world side-scrolling, but where it's not quite a Metroidvania either.
Oh, okay.
But it's a larger contiguous world.
But there's not like power-ups and stuff, as you're saying?
There's going to be some stuff in there. It's more of a shooting mechanic than it's not a brawler.
Okay. Yeah.
Same way. So, but it's going to be like a little bit slower paced, but slightly different kind of game. But we're trying something new. We're really, really excited about it. This is the most excited we've been about building a game so far.
Nice.
So,
when do you think a release will be on that?
That'll be out this fall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like pretty far along, right?
Yeah.
So are you pretty much knocking out a game a year, it sounds like?
Around that. Yeah, we're trying to, not bog ourselves down too much or like keep flooding our thing. We're really trying to put as much into these games as we possibly can. We want to put them out in a timely manner so that we're never just sitting on stuff. But we started work on that. We actually kickstarted Full Quiet last fall, and we reached our initial funding in less than 48 hours, I think.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah, that's awesome. That's good to hear.
And so we had a lot of support from the community in that. There's a really great homebrew community out there, and a really great community of these people that just love older NES games, and we're trying to, they've been, like I said, they've been super supportive of us, and we're trying to make as good a game as we possibly can, and do our best not to just capitalize on nostalgia or kind of cash in on that, but really create new experiences on older systems. So we want these, like if you played the Haunted games, you want them to feel like you jump in, you want to feel kind of modern and really easy to get into, and Full Quiet's that same way. We want to craft something new.
Sure, yeah, looking at it right now, it looks better than anything that I saw for the NES.
It does.
It looks
right now. A gentleman's playing a scrolling level with a train, and the train cars look fantastic.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, and the layered backgrounds and all that with the clouds and the trees.
We do a lot of research when we're doing. I know that it's just an NES game, but this game takes place in 1986, so all the train cars you're seeing, we grew up around Pittsburgh. It was a big steel town, lots of railroads around. Yeah. So, all these train cars, we looked up models that were, kind of came into production around the mid to late 70s, but we still all saw around the mid 80s in our towns and stuff like that. And kind of have this, the way you would kind of approach like a hard sci-fi where it's new but it's lived in kind of thing. And this is still dated, but it doesn't have to be shiny and neon to still have that kind of feel.
Sort of like the vehicles in the original Star Wars were like weathered to look.
Yeah. And this is, growing up in the towns that we grew up in, like the town in this game is kind of an amalgamation of all of our hometowns, and that's kind of dirt. There's no more steel industry anymore, and now things are kind of left to rot a little bit. But then how do you build on top of that? And it's kind of like a running theme throughout our games too.
Have you ever thought about doing like a haunted Halloween that's like in the 90s or like in the 2000s or anything like that to see how
I can't comment on any of those.
See how the town has changed. Oh no,
So
no comment.
We're gonna be coming back to it eventually, but we want to take a little break. This is. This was the series that got us started too, so this is also, every time we make a Haunted game, we really want to push it further and further. So, our kind of, outlook is that everything should be better than everything ever.
Yeah.
And, we're in a unique opportunity that, we're kind of standing on the shoulders of people that built NES games for, 30 years or so. So, even if we fail at it, we're trying to push it further and make these things better. And, these are the games that we wish we could have played as kids. And, as an adult, watching these kind of things, these are the kids that we wanted to be, and this is the kind of stuff we wanted to do. So,
how long have you known the guys that you work? How many people did it take to develop this?
We're a team of about 5 people. There's been a couple other people that have helped us out with sound stuff. I do all the visual design on the game. We have one guy named Thomas, goes by HumanThomas online. He does all the sound design, all the music. Really great musician. He and I have known each other for years. We actually met because we used to play old punk shows together and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Different bands. Greg, our game director, he used to play hockey with my brother, and he just heard that I did graphic design and asked if I wanted to start, doing this stuff. Greg and Tim, our producer, those guys are the guys that started the company and everything. They've been best friends since 3rd grade. And then our programmer, we kind of just met as we were starting to work on these games and stuff. So
nice.
Yeah, but we've been, we worked on the first game kind of almost as a hobby. It ended up kind of spiraling out of control a little bit.
It became more popular than you thought.
Yeah, we got a little more attention than we thought we would about it. And we also discovered how much we like doing this kind of things and how we can improve on it. We just kind of wanted to do it forever.
Is it so has it become a full-time gig for you? Is it still on the side of what you normally do?
This is more like, this is all I do now is just work on games.
Okay, cool.
So I still do a little bit of freelance design work. Thomas, he has another job, but he does, all the music. And Greg and Tim run a store called Cash and Culture. It was like a used game store.
Oh, okay.
And so for their 10th anniversary, they wanted to learn how to maybe make games. And that's what got this whole thing started.
Okay.
So they still do that. It's kind of just all of our thing together. So, and even though we're all have our own kind of instruments that we play, we all work on the game design together. So like 85, Tim and Greg had the concept already and then kind of went rolling with it. But when we did 86, we all kind of just sat in a room and brainstormed about how we're going to make this game and what kind of the themes do we want to touch on.
Cool.
So,
are you guys? So the next one's for NES as well, right?
Yeah.
Are you guys thinking about ever doing a Super Nintendo game or like a Genesis game or anything
we've
like
been
that?
talking about that eventually down the road. For all these games, we actually we have them on Steam as well. We're finishing up our Xbox One build right now.
Oh, okay.
We're going to try to roll these out to other consoles. But we always want to have cartridges of a lot of the stuff we do.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you'd ever do a Switch game?
We're hoping.
Yeah.
So
I'd love to see this on the Switch.
Oh yeah. We got approved for the Wii U development.
Oh yeah, but then that one.
It was literally a month before they announced the Switch, and kind of as soon as they announced the Switch, the Wii U was dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we kind of just skipped it, and everyone at ID Xbox, I know Xbox doesn't get a lot of credit for indie games, but they were so supportive about the entire process.
Oh, that's good.
And really great working with us and stuff. So, and then I think we're probably going to roll out on PS4 after that.
Okay.
And I think the Switch process is just a little different.
Yeah.
Getting it out there.
It seems to be people are doing really well on the eShop on that.
Oh yeah. They really early on they were really stringent about they were really careful about who was getting development kits, but over the past year they've really opened it up and had a really cool indie scene.
I would love to see an orange or a green see-through Switch cartridge.
We would love that. Yeah, we want physical copies so bad.
Yeah,
so.
For all the people that are really into that.
And it'll have a weird taste.
Yeah.
you got to make it taste like rotten pumpkins or green slime jello or
Zombie
something
brains.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. For legal purposes, don't eat your Switch cartridges, but
Yeah, for
here's
sure.
the custom flavor for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're, I don't know if you guys saw the recent reissue of Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo.
Oh, yeah, no, I did.
Yeah, we worked on that as well.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So we did all the physical production of that. We worked with IM 8-Bit and Capcom on that project.
Wow. Yeah. So. Yeah, that's badass. No, I saw that. I didn't get it, but I saw it.
So are you manufacturing your own cartridges, or do you have someone outsource that for you? I was talking to another guy earlier that said they had bought an injection mold and were doing it themselves, so I wasn't.
Yeah, so there's a guy goes by Infinite NES Lives who builds brand new boards and flashes our ROMs to them. He's super, super good at that. And the same guy worked on the Super Nintendo boards for the Street Fighter 2. And then, we have some friends that got the injection mold. We give them color specifications and everything and get everything made. And then we just put everything together by hand. We get all the printing done from someone else. So every copy you see was put together by one of us or a couple of us.
Yeah, with the stickers and the stuff on the inside and all
everything
that.
is put together by hand. And all the boxes are manufactured, shipped to us, and we put them together the same way.
Cool. And you guys are selling cartridges here for $60?
Yeah, the cartridges we sell separately for $50, and then we sell a complete in-box version with the manual, the slipcase, and everything for $60.
Cool.
And if you go to cashandculture.com, that's our store online. Our store's in Pittsburgh, and we ship out domestically for free. So you can find our stuff on there.
Cash in culture is just as in the words, cash.
Yeah, cash in culture.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and we're also on Steam, so check us out on there. And I think it's $9.99 on Steam.
Awesome. Do you guys have a Twitter or anything like that to follow
for the
company?
Retrotainment HQ on Twitter.
Okay.
And I think just Retrotainment on Facebook.
Awesome.
Do you have any idea how many copies of these games you've sold or that are out there now? Because
there's a few. We're we don't want this to be a limited thing.
Yeah.
So we kind of do it in waves, but we always get more out there. We want people that are interested in in the cartridge to be able to pick them up and buy them. But so there's a few out there.
You think probably in the thousands or several hundreds?
I couldn't say. That's that would be more a question for Greg or Tim and stuff like that.
Interesting.
So,
I mean, obviously doing well if like there was a want for a sequel and
if it got funded that quickly.
Yeah, so it's doing pretty well. There's a really good community out there. People, we go to a bunch of different conventions like these ones. We get more collectors that want stuff, and then we also go out to PAX.
Oh, okay. Were you at PAX last weekend then?
We were, yeah.
Oh, nice.
And it's fun. We've actually seen a few people that we saw out there, and
PAX.
Maybe played the game out there.
Were you at the Portland Retro?
We always go to Portland.
I was there. I don't know if I saw you guys.
Those are actually.
I probably walked by your table.
We actually debuted our first game there.
Okay, cool.
So we try to make a point to always go back out there and I guess there's been a couple stuff online about the game, but we did an awful job promoting the first game because it was like we could promote this or we could finish making it.
Yeah.
And so by the time we got out there, we were really putting everything together in our booth. And a couple of people were like, "Oh, I heard about this. When's it coming out?" And they were like, "Give us 2 minutes, and I can finish putting this together." This
Hold on,
out
man.
today. Yeah.
Nice.
So, and we're learning about everything going on. I'm not allowed to put stickers on because I'm terrible at it.
Oh yeah, for the how centered it is.
The first time was Thomas and I were in our booth putting them on. I was like, "This looks pretty good." He's like, "Yeah, that looks really good." And then Greg came back, was like, "No, guys, no bubbles." And the first 5 people that came in were like, "Can I have one without bubbles?"
Yeah, you're not gonna sell the bubble.
So we did really bad. So Greg is so stringent. Even every copy of the Street Fighter put together by hand to check all of that. We looked at every review. Greg was like, "Oh, as long as there's no bubbles, I don't care."
There's no way. Yeah, there's no way I could.
No one came back with bubbles on their thing.
Oh, you were looking at the reviews.
It was just coming out there were a lot of unboxing.
The unboxing
videos. It was such
videos.
a process. We went I Am 8-Bit did such a great job on their packaging. We worked really hard to make sure that was the item that people wanted, that they paid for, they pre-ordered and stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean, you guys definitely being a smaller company, I'm sure people would be hard on you if the sticker was messed up or whatever. That's probably the first thing they're going to look at when they unbox it or whatever. It's the way it's presented. It's
just such a collector's market that was something that I was not prepared for at all. So if I get a game, I'll buy a game with a ripped label. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of that kind of collector's market out there, and making these games has really shown that to me a lot.
Yeah. I've seen I was at C2E2 last weekend, and I actually saw they had people doing the guys who give the ratings on the comics. They do that for cartridges now too. Video game cartridges. So I thought that was interesting.
Oh, the grading,
yeah, the grading where they put
where it can exponentially increase the value if it gets a really nice rating.
Yeah, same thing.
So, a lot of these things around here. Yeah, you'll find 10 copies of the same game at different prices.
Yeah.
That's it's gotten bad enough that I know enough about collecting at this point where the only games I have left that I'm really trying to find are too expensive. And if I find one that's not expensive anymore, I question it because this might be a repro or why isn't this too expensive for me right now?
Hopefully the guy just doesn't know the price, right?
Yeah. So but we're also at a point where everybody knows everything about the games they're selling now, so you can't really pull one over on anyone.
Well, you guys should get discounts for making awesome games. That's what you should do, right?
Please tell everyone that. Yeah. Let them know. Put me on a list, please.
Cool.
So.
All right, yeah, thanks for talking to us, man.
Absolutely.
And, I'm super excited to play I played it a little bit here, but I haven't bought it yet. But, yeah, I'll definitely check it out on Steam, or, hopefully, if it's on Switch, I'll definitely get it there.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks.
So yeah, those were the interviews that we did there. it's we got to talk to a lot of cool people, like we
Man,
said
those
before.
are some good interviews.
Yeah, we talked to the all the homebrew guys and friend of the show Kevin and Pokemon podcast. Make sure you check all their stuff and follow them on Twitter. I'll put it all in the on the description for the show and whatnot. But that's been our show. That's episode 117. We're your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson.
Jeremy Mikowski.
John Nitter.
And, you can catch us at NintenDomainPodcast.com. Download the show from any sort of podcast selling machine. Give us a rating. Download the show. Send us an email at NintenDomainPodcast@gmail.com. Or you can check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Fingmater, FINGMATER. Or check me out at Twitch for twitch.tv/NintenDomainPodcast. I do streams Thursdays and Sundays, and Jeremy and I do Splatoon streams Friday night, Saturday morning around like 2 a.m. Central Time. Check those out, and, we'll see you next week.
See ya.
See ya.
Thank you.